Warning: this episode may contain language and situations that may be considered inappropriate for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Also, there is a high possibility that spoilers for the anime series we are covering may occur. So please do be careful if you have not finished this anime series or are not currently up to date with it upon listening to today's episode. Not to mention, the opinions expressed are of the individual participants and do not reflect upon the Dub Talk podcast as a whole. And finally, our lawyers wanted to make it perfectly crystal clear that any and all brand and product placements throughout tonight's episode were in fact fictional and done for comedic effect. We do not have any prior commercial agreements or obligations with any of the companies and businesses referenced in tonight's episode. We at the Dub Talk podcast value our brand and treat it with the utmost respect and creative integrity. We would never dream of selling out so shamelessly like a bunch of dirty, money-grubbing pigs. But if you really wanted some high-quality pigs, you can go ahead and buy the ever-so-delicious double Western bacon cheeseburger at any of your local Carl's Jr. fast food restaurants. Carl's Jr. Have it your way. Or you could find an adorable little girl in a pink dress and ask her to create a little piggy out of thin air and keep it as a pet. Because, oh my god, look at that little face! Isn't he adorable? Look at his tiny ear! Excuse me. Anyway, with that out of the way, please enjoy tonight's Dub Talk episode of Alice and Zoroku.
Hello and welcome to Dub Talk, a show where a bunch of nerds get together and talk about a recent dub or dub announcement. Today we step through the looking glass and load up our PS2 era CGI vans. That's right, we're talking Alice and Zoroku. And to help me,
this episode has been brought to you by Carl's Jr.'s. Carl Jr., the ultimate burger place for all of your Japanese entertainment needs.
To help me out today, I have assembled what I like to call the Dub Talk Dad Squad.
Dad Squad!
Dad Squad!
Woo.
Starting out, we've got our team dad, Spaceman Hardy.
Yes, thank you very much. I am, as the oldest member of the Dub Talk crew by a considerable amount, I felt it only necessary to come in here and provide my knowledge and wisdom, or lack thereof, on the subject matter at hand.
Daddy,
and also, I will be probably heavily drinking and waiting on a pizza to deliver, so.
Excellent.
Yes. True dad form right there. So.
Alright, next up, we've got the actual dad of the group. Like, he literally has a child, and another one on the way, by the way, Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov!
Not Jewish, but...
Noah Clue.
Thank you. And yes, I actually went through the process of procreation, and by the time this episode goes up, I will have added another member to the group. I'd like to give a shout out to Ruby Marie Ardell, born May 28th, 2017.
Woo!
Little Miss Ruby, I am an eternal flame, baby!
No! Oh wait, you're not talking about the Bengals song. Never mind.
Alright, next up, not technically a dad, but the baby face of the group, we have Andrew.
I am by many standards a children, as you would consider, but I am also a college, and many a things can, shall, and will happen in college, so you never know.
Yes. You are of the age that I could have possibly sired you.
That is the most bizarre thing that we're going to hear throughout this entire night in an episode that's already about magic-wielding demon children.
Yes, let me pass it through the phone.
Glorious start tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
And then we started drinking tequila.
Okay. And introducing myself, your host, technically more of an uncle than a dad in both the team and literal.
Well, you're a
I am
you're pug
Roots of
dad.
Justice.
He is the pug dad.
Yeah, I'm a pug pop.
I can also say I am an uncle, and I'll be visiting my nephew tomorrow, so that's a thing.
Yeah. And you'll
There we
always be
go.
our cousin Andy, of course.
Hey, I still have yet to change that.
Alright, so we have a plot synopsis coming straight to you from Funimation. A group of young girls possess a mysterious power which gives them the ability to materialize their thoughts. Detained and experimented upon, these youths are locked away in secret until one of them manages to escape. Her name is Sana, a girl with the power to ignore the very laws of physics. When this willful powerhouse crosses paths with a stubborn old man named Zoroku, his carefully ordered life will never be the same again. Also, there's like a bunch of references to Alice in Wonderland that really don't make sense.
Not at all, really.
And this is by no means a new phenomenon. No, there's a long, proud tradition of trying to make anime versions of the Alice in Wonderland characters. Like, okay, you got the Clamp manga, you've got the ending of Dagashi Kashi, you've got every blonde character who's actually named Alice. All of them. They just cannot get enough of Alice in Wonderland for some reason.
The same way that they like Disney, so Disney and Alice in Wonderland kind of go hand in hand.
I have to wonder though, is it the actual story of Alice in Wonderland, or is it the Disney version that Japan idolizes more?
Frankly, Roots, it's because they want to see the White Rabbit as a furry, cute girl.
Touche.
Yeah.
Touche. Alright, so starting us off, we have the ADR director and the ADR scriptwriter. Gentlemen, do you have any predictions?
You know me, I don't usually make predictions for ADR scriptwriters, so obviously I'm kind of out of the loop on this one.
Normally, I try to make a prediction. This time, I could only guess for the director. I couldn't really think of anyone for the writer.
I didn't have anything for script, but I did have two for the ADR director for this project, two equally possibilities.
I actually had one for each, so,
You overachiever, you!
I know!
Just
That's
go.
why we love you, man.
It is why we love you, but you're making us look bad.
To be fair, we don't really need to try hard to make ourselves look bad.
Oh!
Yeah. Okay, so, what were your guys' predictions?
For the director on this one, this was kind of guided by the fact that I had only known what who's directing some of the other simuldubs that are going up right now, like My Hero Academia and Sakura Quest. But I had this thought in the back of my head that because of the content of the show, being a generational gap thing that seemed to feature a lot of go girl power moments, Caitlin Glass was the name that jumped into my head for the director.
Okay.
I can see that.
I also had Caitlin Glass as one of my two as well.
Internet high five. So yeah. And I'm assuming Roots' guess was also Caitlin Glass, clearly.
Actually, no, but kinda close.
Okay.
Actually, it was because of, Garo the Animation that I basically picked it. Because this was kind of a darker take on fantasy. I had Garo the Animation's assistant ADR director, who was Tia Ballard.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the two kind of run in the same class.
And because, I assumed that the script writing would be a little looser, because it really didn't have to stick that close to the Japanese, I picked Jared Hedges for scriptwriter.
I can see it.
What's one of the other things that he's done in script writing in the past?
I think he did
in
Shimonetta.
particular,
Oh,
in particular, I'm thinking Raja Bahamut was basically
Noah, basically, Jared Hedges is the guy they keep locked up in the GIMP chest and let out every now and then, because he's been writing for Funimation for quite some time now.
okay. So,
Yeah.
as opposed to the Goonies, now it's the Funnies.
Apparently, yeah.
All right. As for another ADR prediction for director, I picked Afia Yu because I was thinking along the lines of kids with supernatural powers as well as a little bit of cutesy comedy were things that she had been well acquainted with in things like Assassination Classroom and Psyche K.
Okay, that's
It
reasonable.
definitely has an Assassination Classroom balance between lightheartedness and serious, oh my god, we're gonna die moments.
But of course... Oh, Hardy, did you have anything?
I predicted a rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle.
Well, you're
Okay.
not far off.
Of course, we were all wrong with our predictions here. Our ADR director is none other than Clifford Chapin, and our scriptwriter is Bonnie Klinkenbeard.
Interesting combination.
Have these two worked together before?
I'm not sure. I think they might have, probably at some point. If she worked if Bonnie Klinkenbeard had written for maybe something like Yona of the Dawn, it's possible.
Well, you would know Clifford Chapin's directing from Akiba's Trip the Animation. You would know it from Die Middler, Prince vs. Penguin Empire, Divine Gate, Keijo! And, Planetarian, aka Just Fuck Me Up, fam.
Don't fuck the robot.
No, for the record,
And,
for the record, it's pronounced Dimedollar, not Dimid.
Oh, Diamond.
Yeah. Penguin dicks.
Okay.
Mawaru penguin dicks.
Oh god.
Ah, come on, man.
And speaking of penguin dicks, what do we think of Mr. Clifford?
What, that fucking loser who sits by himself?
He does the oh-so favorite voice of yours, the little child.
Ah, yes, yes.
Alright, well, just a sec, guys. You would know Bonnie Klinkenbeard's script writing, mainly from the Black Butler franchise, a certain magical index and a certain scientific railgun, the Soul Eater franchise, Grimgar, Ashes and Illusions, and Yuri on Ice.
Never heard of Yuri on Ice.
I
It does,
Little show, you know?
doesn't ring a bell to me.
no, I.
It sounds kind of familiar, like people screaming at me about it, but I can't really place it, you know?
No, I think you're thinking of the spin-off, Yowie on Fire. That's what more.
Oh,
people remember.
yeah, I remember that one.
It's
that
called
was,
That was some
Yowie
stuff.
on the Rocks. Get it right.
No. This was the Four Coma spin-off of that. Everything's got a spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off these days.
Okay, so what did you guys think of the directing and scriptwriters? Let's start with you, Hardy.
well, I think the director's a fucking loser, but other than that, I think he did a very solid job.
Just for the record, Cliff, we don't know this guy. There are three of us here. We've never met this guy before.
How dare you say that after I've literally German suplexed you onto a bed before?
That was a long time ago, sir.
It was 2 years ago.
We do not speak of the German suplex.
But anyways, no, I think it's well directed, and we already know that Clifford has been able to pull off some really impressive work in the past, especially on shows like Akiba's Trip, where he had considerably less time to work on than with other projects, and I think it really shines through here. As far as Bonnie's writing, she has yet to let me down, and I don't think I've been unimpressed with anything that she's done so far. So I think it's a well done job.
It's well done, yes. I think I'm kind of speak for everyone else in saying that we're not going to have very many complaints about this. If I had anything to complain about, it would just be that it's not great, though. But I kind of blame that on the content itself. Like, the direction on this is fine. The writing on this is fine. It uses what content they're given to and directs the actors to pretty good. When it has to be dramatic, it's dramatic. When it has to be sad, it's sad. When it's lighthearted and fluffy, it's lighthearted and fluffy. Although, I will point out one thing here. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but did you guys see episode 2 in both the sub and the dub?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, in episode 2, when the pigs show up in the flower shop, the assistant says, this is because I had a pork cutlet last night. But then in the dub, did they change it to, this is because I had a pork chop last night? Or was anyone
think
even paying attention to that?
I did not remember that part, but I think as long as they got the pork in, it was fine.
Well, it's a missed opportunity,
Yeah.
though, because, like, they could have just thrown it. This is Bonnie we're talking about. She could have thrown in a reference and said, this is pigs are attacking because I had a pork cutlet bowl last night.
Might not have had the lip flaps to do it.
Or, like, the space to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want your pork cutlet references, we already have that non-manga scene from the new season of My Hero Academia. So,
I love how I saw somebody posted, wow, I can't believe the My Hero Academia fans were fans of Yuri on Ice and threw in pork katsudon as a reference. It's like, that's just a thing people eat in Japan. Are you for fucking real?
Nope. Yuri on Ice owns that forever now.
Alright.
They got the trademark now.
Yeah.
As for me, I think the direction is very strong. There's a lot of interesting scenes, especially in these first couple of episodes where you got super adorable little shenanigans, and then some pretty heavy moments, like especially in 3 and 4, where it's like, holy crap, which pulled out a lot of interesting stops for some of the people involved, which I was pleasantly surprised with. Script was very well done, not unlike a pork cutlet bowl, which is not property of the Yuri on Ice trademark, but hey, I thought it was good all around, and even though we joke a little bit, we are fans of Clifford Chapin, and we appreciate him regularly tuning in to view us. I can't wait for him to call us an idiot next time. Alright.
In all, the direction on Alice Zoroku is fairly solid. The emotions of the actor never feel out of place. Dialogue, especially for Sana, who is a young child, rarely strays into territory that would threaten my suspension of disbelief. Grown-ups sound like grown-ups, kids sound like kids. Not much else I can say on that matter, but on a side note, I do want to say that there was a lot of really clever casting. I'll bring up one specific instance a little later on in the episode, but I really wanted to give Clifford Chapin credit.
Oh yeah.
On it right now.
Oh yeah. Actually, there's two things I thought were pretty clever. One I believe we'll get to in our next segment. But yeah, there's a lot of cute little, like, directing, acting gags that were probably extremely intentional that I'm kind of appreciate that Cliff did.
I do have a little bit of an issue with the script writing. It's gonna sound a little odd at first, but hear me out.
Shoot.
At times it feels just a little bit too loyal to the subs. At a couple points in the first 2 episodes, I couldn't tell any difference whatsoever between the subtitles on the Japanese version and what was said in the dub. For a show like Yuri on Ice or Grimgar, this is something that's absolutely essential, because a misinterpreted line could spell disaster for an entire scene or an entire episode. But, you know, in this case, some of the moments in episodes 2 and 3, some of the more lighter comedic moments, I felt like I might have lost a joke or two.
In the dub?
Yeah.
is this regarding the piggies?
That and the teleporting around the world.
Oh, you mean like it wasn't a spastic or cartoonish enough that the reactions were in the dub?
Yeah.
We can talk about this a little bit more also when we talk about the individual characters, but the direction seems to be taking a bit of a more serious approach to it. Like, they can't quite match the Japanese tropes when it comes to overreactions, which in the Japanese, those are tropes. Like, those are, like, we've seen these lines reads before. In English, I don't know exactly what the equivalent would have been, so they decided to play a bit more straight-laced. And I guess they do this to match out the more serious content. They thought, well, we could either be goofier and match the lighter moments, or we can focus more on being taken seriously. And that seems to be what they were doing with those traveling around the world and having a less over-the-top reaction.
Honestly, though, I think a little bit of tonal whiplash would work, especially when things get super dark.
You know, speaking of whiplash, can I just bring up a little thing quick that there's no real clear-cut place to mention this, but this is something I want to bring up. I want to ask you guys, and since I know he tunes in regularly, I want to ask Clifford, what was your interpretation on the following thing? In episode 1, there's like a moment where they first meet Sana in the convenience store, and like the girl's basically, she's been staring at the food for 3 hours. Could you possibly go and talk to her? And like when Zoroku goes to talk to her, and then the camera turns to like the reaction of the cashier register lady, and she's got this weird like chibi cheering face. I don't understand what that is. I don't even understand what would warrant that face. And figured if anything, she would have like a more blank-eyed stare. And she's not asking her to tell this kid to fuck off. It's like, she's not like, yeah, get the fuck out of my store.
Well,
it's like, no, it's just, yeah, go talk to that girl. See if she's okay. I want to understand what the creative interpretation of that moment is. Because I didn't get it.
Well, Andrew, that's just good customer service at work. Always treat your customers with a smile.
That's not wrong. I mean, if you've ever worked in retail, and I know every single one of you have, you know that you're not allowed to be mean to the customers, no matter how foreign they look. Like, seriously, why do we have people with blonde hair?
I resent that, you know.
It took me a little while to understand that when they said that line. When she said, the police don't trust foreigners, I thought she was talking about Zoroku for a second. It took me a minute to realize, oh, wait, no. The girl has blonde hair, therefore she must be foreign, henceforth police don't trust her.
You know what? I didn't notice that. That's really interesting.
Huh. Well, this show has a bit of a problem as well with, they're supposed to be international characters. Like, one of the characters is American, Sana's supposed to be apparently like non-Japanese, but none of the character designs are distinguishing enough for that. They're all that Hidamari sketch style look. So if you watch this and didn't hear the lines, you'd think they're all just anime characters.
Oh,
Well, I mean, that's just anime in general, unless you're watching something that was drawn by Urasawa or Satoshi Kon, who go out of their way to actually make Asian people look Asian.
Yes, and
you're just going to have that generic anime design, regardless of what you look at.
Actually, I'm going to counter that a little bit with another JC Staff series. You guys have all seen Food Wars, right?
Yes.
Now that's...
I've seen a little.
I've watched bits and pieces.
That show has a huge international
Bits and
cast of
pieces.
characters, and they have kind of similar facial designs, like they're clearly all drawn by the same person, but there's enough distinguishing features that you can get the idea, like, okay, the silver-haired girl with the smoother complexion and the bitchy attitude, okay, she's clearly European, or these good-looking guys with the double-edged sword, they're clearly Italian. So I'm not going to blame it on the studio. I'm just going to blame it on the
character designer.
Whoever the character designer was.
Oh well.
You just wanted to look at the obviously American girl with big tits in the bikini.
I watched the show for the cooking, damn it. Why won't anyone
The American
believe it?
flag bikini, I might add.
All right, so we should probably be moving on right about now.
Yes, we've been talking a little bit about the old, and let's talk a little bit about some of our younger cast of characters. The children, if you will.
So you're the right
Segue
person to
has been brought
segue
you
into
by
this.
Carl's Jr.'s. Eat like you mean it.
Yeah. Eat like you
Okay,
mean
so-
it.
So we are going to start off with the 3 Dreams of Alice users used by the evil corporation, whatever it's called. I don't think it even has a name yet.
They just
are
refer-
a faction. They're like a faction, if anything.
I mean,
Yeah.
they don't even give their company a name. They just refer to it as it's not the Institute, it's
Oh, the facility.
their-
That's
how
right.
generic can you get?
Guys, they are the man. We shall refer to them as the man.
Agreed.
So refer to them as
Because
those
the man
assholes.
always going to get you down. You got to fight the man.
So what
Fight
about
the
these
power.
children?
Okay, so starting off, we have a pair of twins named Asahi and Yonaga. Asahi is kind of the outgoing twin, and she has the ability to spawn anything with a chain. And Yonaga is a little more reserved, and she can spawn basically a bow and I think it's like an unlimited amount of arrows.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're just looking at the character designs, Asahi has the twin drill hair, and Yonaga has the ponytail.
Okay, twin tail ponytail, got it.
That's how I wrote it on my notes, because they don't even list their names until like 5 minutes after they're introduced.
And who is our third child in this batch.
And then we have Cleo. Actually described on the ANN character guide that I got all this from. As a pessimistic boy, he can create anything he is capable of drawing, and he likes to sleep a lot.
I almost feel like when I look at him, I get a very kind of like institutionalized, almost autistic interpretation of like some characters like Death Note from Death Note or something like that. I think you mentioned off recording. He's kind of like Diet Near.
Yeah, I cannot.
I
be
wouldn't
the first
call
person
him.
to think that.
I wouldn't call him Near Light because I wouldn't want to associate him with that sociopath.
Oh, this one's a little more sociopath. Like, if you had the power to create anything that you could draw, don't you think you would go a little power mad with that too?
You would just draw boobies all day.
Why
Like,
would I?
literally.
I've got my own.
I mean, us single men, we would just boobies.
I mean, before we
Yeah.
get into predictions, I'm almost curious what the actual situation with this facility and these children are, because it's not like a clearly antagonistic relationship between them and like their handler / caretaker. It's almost more like they are being cared for, but there's like almost a disagreement among themselves about like what their purpose is and or like what they should be using their abilities for.
Well, one of the characters kind of lists.
Yeah, there's.
I think it's episode 5 where one of the characters very clearly lists out the reason for the facility is we've got this new potential for unlimited energy that could change all of existence. Like, it's basically Dimension W.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
pretty much.
This is a
And now you had to go and ruin it for us.
But
Thank you so much.
It's not like what they're doing is any better.
Alright, so we should probably get this moving along. Did you guys have predictions?
I did. I had one for each of them.
I
No.
don't think I actually had predictions for these little children, since I just figured women that could do the children's voices good.
And I did not get a prediction for Cleo because he does not talk until episode 3. So I didn't even take a guess.
Alright, what you guys got?
For me, for the twins, Sassy Twin I had as Sarah Wiedenheft.
Okay.
Shy Twin I had as Megan Shipman. And Cleo I had as Terry Doty.
I can see it.
Alright.
For the for Twin A, or the one with the twin tails, I had Sarah Ragsdale because her portrayal in Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is basically the epitome of crazy girl in charge, so I thought we need to give her more roles in Funimation. And for Ponytail Girl, probably because she had a similar cool demeanor in Saga of Tanya the Evil, I put Janie Torado.
Genie.
Yes, my Jean. I dream of Jeannie.
A lot of
Better not let your wife know about that.
I also dream of Jenny.
Hey, you say.
Hey, good save.
And then you just hear like her unclocking the gun in the background. Yeah, that's what I fucking thought.
Hey, don't joke around. We live in Michigan. This is a gun-heavy state.
Alright, Andrew, what were your predictions?
Like I said, I didn't really have any predictions for these 3 characters.
Oh, that's
I was
right,
just
that's
like,
right.
Ladies that could do the children voices good.
Okay, then I should probably do mine, shouldn't I? For Asahi, you know, Twin Tail, I want to say?
That's it.
Okay.
Twin drills are gonna be the next big thing.
I had Lucy Christian, mainly because she's known for her incredibly energetic characters. For Yonaga, I had Sarah Wiedenheft, mainly kind of a complicated thing. It's because of a prediction in another show that hasn't gotten to that point yet. Basically, she's my prediction for Carrot in One Piece. And because she is incredibly good at playing young boy characters, my prediction of Cleo was Ryan Reynolds.
Ah, I see.
I see that.
Now, boss,
Yep.
who were, in fact, the actors and or actresses who played these characters.
Playing Twin Tail Asahi, we have Brittany Karbowski.
Kind of surprised me, honestly.
Playing Ponytail Yanaga, we have Brittany Lauda.
Which
Hey.
really surprised me.
And playing Cleo, we have none other than, actually I got this right, Ryan Reynolds.
I see.
Wasn't a surprise at all.
Nope.
Okay, so you would know Brittany Karbowski as Black Star from Soul Eater, Migi in Parasite the Maxim, and Mikoto Misaka, aka Last Order, from A Certain Magical Index and Certain Scientific Railgun.
Misaka.
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 Brittany Lauda, other than being
You-
other than being in charge of a bunch of Media Blasters dubs recently, you would know her as Kamet from Holy Knight, Anzu Shirogane from Castletown Dandelion, and in this season as Leviathan from Seven Mortal Sins.
We haven't recorded
It's
that
gonna
episode
be a
yet.
dub.
We haven't recorded that
It's gonna
episode
be a
yet.
dub review. We can just bleep that
Okay.
if we have to.
Just
Now,
put,
of course,
just put the freaking the seal that they used to censor all the dirty parts over that whole segment.
Speaking of dirty parts, hey Hardy, does the name Brittany Lauda look kind of familiar to you?
Yes, in fact, she's named after the very not slutty, but very bitchy character from Honey Pop, Audrey.
And what a wonderful character she was.
Oh yes.
Since we are going off and mentioning Unipop, I feel it is only right for Hardy to give his thoughts on these characters first.
Oh,
Wait, hold on.
hold on.
Ryan Reynolds?
And yeah, I got to deal with Ryan Reynolds, who you would hear is as Etoile in the Heroic Legend of Arslan, Maeda Toshiro from Tokenrabu Hanamaru, and Kangetsu Gaso in Masamune-kun's Revenge. Gentlemen, your opinions.
Well, I just wanted to bring out the twins are Brittany and Brittany.
Yeah.
That's one of the
Did
two
that.
things I was mentioning last section.
Yeah. I think they did fine, frankly. Ryan has showed us that she can definitely pull off the little boy voice pretty much flawlessly. She's kind of heir apparent to, what's her name?
From what, another voice actress?
Yes. Been in the industry for years. Doraemon.
Mona-
Mona Marshall, yes.
Oh, Mona Marshall.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
about to say,
Sorry.
The original can play little boys.
Yeah. So she's basically the Funimation equivalent of Mona Marshall, and she does it just fine. The twins, they're fine. I think that, well, hey guys, guess what? My pizza just came in. Go among and talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, we
Will
could
do.
say that he has nothing bad to say about them at all. Noah.
Well, you can't say anything bad about them because, honestly, yeah, there's this always fear I have that if you have twins in a cast that the voice or the ADR director is going to get lazy and just cast the same voice actors for both of them. And I'm glad to see that's not the case in this situation. Both Karbowski and Lauda have perfectly pull off the very conflicting parts of their twin personas. You've got Karbowski, who's wonderfully bratty, and I just like to say I'm glad to hear her again because I'm only used to her in a lot of ADV and Sentai dub, so I'm glad that she's getting more work at Funimation as well. And Lauda balances out with her nervousness, but she's not annoying. You know, she's not that shrill, "Save me, Oni-chan" kind of personality. She's just very reserved. So yeah, they both did a good job, and I think Ryan Reynolds needs more lines because at this point we've only heard her speak like 3 lines in this dub so far.
All right. I actually did, since mentioning Ryan Reynolds, I actually liked the whole sequence when, I think the most noteworthy sequence of that character is when they're describing Mini C and what he thinks of her and how he's very reluctantly does not think highly of her just because somebody who smiles that much isn't that like the same as never smiling, and I think that's a kind of interesting little line there, and I think that says a lot about his character in and of itself. As for Brittany and Brittany, I think Brittany's good and Brittany's pretty good. Which one am I talking about? You fill in the lines. Except I won't do that to you since I'm not an asshole. Brittany Karbowski, I kind of love the little whiny, bratty version she does. She can do cutesy-wootsy, but bratty Brittany is always very fun. Brittany Lauda, first time we really get to actually talk about her as a regular for a Funimation broadcast dub, even though she has been in a couple others, such as Akiba's Trip and a couple other ensemble voices. So it's nice to see her with a named role, and I like her a lot. I got to meet her at Anime Next. I have a signed little Audrey thing. We got to talk about Hunter x Hunter. She is good at that, and she's good at acting. I like the kind of cowardice, but also sweetness she offers to her version of the twin. And I'd like to hear more from her and her other Brittany.
Ryan Reynolds seems to be getting her fair share of little boy roles since Funimation radically expanded their broadcast dub program into the simuldubs. Under ordinary circumstances, I'd express concerns about typecasting, but considering the difficulties associated with casting actual kids in anime dubs, in particular with the frantic pace of doing an anime dub week to week instead of basically piecemeal, anyone who can play kids well won't hear a complaint from me. Now, the Britneys, as I will now affectionately call them, unless I don't want to be called that, in which case, sorry about that.
You have to wonder if the director did that on purpose or not.
Oh, he abso-fucking-lutely did that on purpose. Let's not kid ourselves.
They play well off of one another. I'm actually kind of curious how they ended up doing that harmonizing effect they did in episode 2. Did they do it both in the same booth? Did they record one and then the other?
If it was anything like what the twins recorded like for Orin High School Host Club, they just had one record first and then have the next one come in, listen to that reading, and try to match the pre-recording.
Well, nonetheless, it was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty neat too, yeah.
I'm back, gentlemen,
But,
and I have
you know-
pizza.
Good for you, buddy. As you were saying,
But since they only really get to wreak havoc in the first episode, I don't quite have a very strong opinion one way or the other of them. I can say, however, that Brittany Karbowski is in her natural environment as the energetic Asahi. And while I am, not familiar with Brittany Lauda's voice at all, she does very well as the withdrawn Yonaga.
If I might jump into something a little bit, I've noticed that most of the actresses who have previously been on Honey Pop, like Sarah Wiedenheft and Skylar McIntosh and Brittany Lauda, the characters they play in the game sound dramatically different from most of the anime characters they play.
Interesting.
It really is, because, especially Skylar McIntosh, because she sounds nothing like Nikki in any of the roles she's played for anime. It's if you've ever played the game, and if you have, you're a pervert, but, I own up to it at least.
Dad Squad.
You can really tell the difference in most cases.
Now, I had a theory about the twins in particular. Since we talked a little bit about the Alice in Wonderland comparisons, did anyone theorize that these characters were written to be sort of a reference to Tweedledee and Tweedledum?
I just thought of that,
That is a curious observation.
Yes, they use all of these code words that reference the Alice in Wonderland series, like one we'll get to later. And throughout watching this, I was trying to think, okay, which of the magic users in this are supposed to be parallels to which Alice in Wonderland characters? These are the only two that I could kind of pin down and say, okay, this is probably the obvious one the writer was going for.
What would you think Cleo would be? I would imagine either the White Rabbit or the Caterpillar.
I was thinking the Caterpillar.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say the White Rabbit. The Caterpillar because they're much more quiet and doesn't exactly talk in riddles, but doesn't really talk straightforward as well.
Right.
And so if we see a character with a handlebar mustache, then we'll know that that's supposed to be the walrus.
in other news, I learned the perfect time to go pee is when we start talking Hunipop.
Ooh, you know what? I can actually delve into that theory here in just a sec, because we're about to go into our next batch of
Wait,
characters.
how did my urination lead into this?
Those
Moving
Don't worry about
on.
it, Andrew.
English majors have to talk about this stuff whatever comes up, dang it. Consensus all around. No complaints about the three magical children.
Right. There really wasn't a lot to them yet, but, you know, it's fine for what we have so far.
They fit the tropes good.
All right, next up, we have the 3 members that we were introduced to so far, probably all of them, of the Cabinet Intelligence Bureau, who is sent to investigate the dreams of Alice.
Basically, they are the ally faction. That's what we can refer to them as.
I hope they're the allies.
At least for now.
At least for now.
First of all, we have Shizuku Ichijo. She's basically an officer for this bureau, and she actually has a Dream of Alice ability that isn't made quite clear in the first 4 episodes.
No, it's...
But she basically spawned a sword. Is she the one who fights Mini C in the first episode?
Yes.
Because we can tell because she's got this ability to sort of... It looks like she's unlocking safes, like levitating safes, to like her 666 weapons, as she describes them. And we see that same power in the first episode, and that comes up again in episode 5. So yeah, she's... unlike most of the magic users, which, for context, the magic users in this seem to only have one specific power. It's like they're... oh my god. It's
they
like
have one thing that they can basically... they can solidify and summon, with the exception of another.
Right.
But I'll say this. She's so much hotter in a suit than she is in the goddamn maid outfit. I'm sorry.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
She also has a penchant for orange marmalade for some reason.
Alright.
You know what these magic users kind of remind me of? It kind of reminds me of handshakers.
You know, and as I was bringing this up with the 3 kids, do you think the parallels between Shizuku and Mini C, who we'll get to later, you think they're the white and the red queen?
No, because we already have a red queen.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay.
I mean, it would be a fair comparison if that parallel didn't already exist.
Right.
I don't know what characters they were supposed to be, and we're not even confirmed that all of them are supposed to be Alice in Wonderland characters.
In any case, moving on, we have Noriko Yamada. She also kind of works for the Bureau kind of on the side. She's a bit of a hacker. She managed to develop software that can track dreams of Alice users.
And damn it, she needs a bigger budget.
She needs more money. Give her money.
Yeah.
Just open up a Patreon. We'll get you some money.
Or a GoFundMe or a coffee account.
She's also a little buddy with Shizuku, if you get what I mean.
Oh my.
Just because another woman is sexually attracted to another woman doesn't mean that she's a lesbian. It's perfectly straight to think another woman is hot.
They haven't even talked that much. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, but there's some fangirling going on between Yamada.
Look, have you seen her in that suit? Goddamn. Anyways, speaking of suits.
And last but not least, we have Ryu Naito. Basically kind of a jackass who happens to be friends with Zoroku. Kind of coincidental there.
Yeah.
You basically sort of watched him, like, deal with a bunch of punks in the street, and he was just like, oh, I hate crooked stuff. And then he's like, wow, this is a cool dude. Let's be friends.
I mean, isn't that how you make all your friends?
That's how I made my best friend.
The pizza?
Oh,
By the way,
Pizza's
these
cool.
segues and more are brought to you by pizza. Screwing over the Italians since the 1900s.
Amen.
Okay, so since Hardy's face deep in a pizza, I think we'll shift our designated
Order here.
well, I'm good to go.
We had a schedule and we're gonna break it.
Yeah, we're just gonna move it one to the right. I'll start with Noah, then we'll go with Andrew, and then Hardy can go
All right.
next.
All right.
So did we have predictions?
Yeah, I had one for all 3 of them, all from wildly different shows. Because like if you've watched this podcast in the past, you know that I pick my guesses based on what other characters the character in the show reminds me of. So for Shizuku, the sultrier, well, not even sultrier, just like more level-headed voice character, I always peg down as being Colleen Clinkenbeard character, because she always does those well. She always does that that level-headed, serious, sometimes dry wit character with good acting chops to go with it. So, Colleen for Shizuku. For Yamada, this one is just because I had just finished the second season of My Hero Academia, and in that season, the villain-esque character shows up at one point with like these huge swirl glasses that she's like hiding her personality. So for some reason I thought that reminds me of this of Yamada a little bit, and how she's looking over her computer like frantically typing away and trying to hack the code. And that was played by Elizabeth Maxwell in Show by Rock. So that was my guess for Yamada.
And not a villain.
In Show by Rock?
Oh, Show by Rock. Okay. I thought you said My Hero Academia. I was confused. Okay.
No, that's a different character altogether.
No, she's not a villain, but she still likes to see people in pain and squirm.
By the way, God damn you, Andrew, for posting that that cosplay of her in on Twitter the other day.
I will not apologize for greatness.
If you people, all you people out there, follow Andrew's Twitter feed, because he will fill it with My Hero Academia fan art and cosplayers. It's glorious.
I can neither confirm or deny this. Anyways, do you have any more predictions?
Oh yeah, all right, for Naito. Well, I've got two old guys in the cast list, because these are like the best two old guy voice actors in Funimation. One of them we'll talk about later, but the other one is everyone's favorite, R. Bruce Elliott. Especially because he's a pervert in this show for a bit, and he also plays a similar pervert in Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, only with an talking
just
parrot.
make sure you don't put too much butter in the lasagna.
Oh my. Anyways, I didn't have as for me, I actually didn't have predictions for Mr. Naito at the time when I was making these, but I have predictions for Ichijo and Yamada. For Ichijo, I had, for this one, Morgan Garrett, because funny enough, when she first appears, she looks a lot to me like Seraphim from Is This a Zombie, funny enough. And as for Yamada, I didn't actually write the actress's name. I had whoever plays the glasses girl in Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, that would be
That wasn't Leah Clark, was it?
That was not.
No,
Leah Clark.
it was.
Wait, was that Gwendolyn Lau?
Yes, it was.
Okay, then I had Gwendolyn Lau for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Help me, I'm buried in books.
So it's my turn?
It's your turn, yeah.
It's my turn. Okay. I don't know if I had a prediction for Glasses Girl or not. I think I might have leaned towards Kristen McGuire. And after hearing her in the dub, I actually, for a long time, I thought it was Kristen McGuire, because it kind of sounded like her. As far as Shizuku goes, I went with Colleen Klinkenbeard at first, but then I decided, you know what? I don't want to be so easy to read, and so I swapped her out for Caitlin Glass instead.
Okay.
And for Naito, I had Kent Williams, because it seems like a very Kent Williams type of role.
I can see that.
Yeah, I could hear that. One of the other old guys at Funimation. Oh, old sounding guys at Funimation.
Yeah. We need to take care of our old guys at Funimation now. We're losing way too many.
Why'd you have to bring the mood down, man?
Damn. Pugmaster.
Buzzkill.
Don't worry, we got some pugs on standby. Don't worry about it.
Pugmaster Roots.
Pugs.
What you got?
Alright, so for Ryu Naito, he basically, from his character design, seemed like a bit of a goofy character, you know, so my prediction for him ended up being Sunny Straight.
Alright.
And, I kind of had to do Noriko and Shizuku together. And basically, it wasn't there weren't individual predictions for them. I just kind of lumped them together. Because it was blatantly obvious to me. But, it was basically Monica Rial and Jamie Marchi.
Oh.
They're
So they're not allowed to do separate roles anymore. They've got to be grouped together all the time.
look. You
All the
look.
time.
If you see Panty and Stocking, they're two peas in a motherfucking pod. You know.
The
That they are,
diabolical
that-
duo, we call them.
That is why that clip of us at YomaCon where we went to Monica's panel and we asked her a question and she just calls up Jamie to answer the question. We're like, these two have done this probably way more times than we'll ever know.
Are you?
Spoiler alert, they have.
All right.
Because I remember Anime Blossom oh no, it wasn't Jamie Markey. It was during the Michiko and Hachin premiere where she called Jade Saxton.
Well, she could be
Anyways.
Great.
She could be a mini Jamie. But yes, anyways.
But yeah, well, we were all pretty damn wrong.
Pretty much.
So, playing Ryu Naito, we have Chuck Huber. Playing Noriko Yamada, we have Madeline Morris. And playing Shizuku Ichijo, we have Anastasia Munoz. Now, Chuck Huber, you would have probably heard as Android number 17 or Emperor Pilaf in the Dragon Ball franchise. He was also Sho Tucker in Fullmetal Alchemist and Brotherhood, but you'd probably know him from the original War.
Boo.
He was the
he
best
played-
father ever.
This
Worst
is the
dad.
Dadcast, after all.
Yeah. Bad dad.
And speaking of
He
dads,
played,
speaking of dads,
he
plays
played Kuro.
Professor Stein, who in the manga is actually a dad now.
That's actually kind of interesting. Anyway,
That
he
kid
is
gotta be
Kuro
crazy.
in Servamp. And he is also Kurogiri in My Hero Academia.
Hey.
Well, everyone's going to be in My Hero Academia eventually now.
I do
It's
not
gonna be
have
like One
objections
Piece.
to that.
No,
Now,
I don't either.
Madeline Morris, you would know as Bianca in Izetta the Last Witch, Susame Tsuji in Three Leaves, Three Colors, and a whole bunch of roles we gotta blibbity bleep bleep out, because we can't talk about him yet.
No, you can't, Roots.
We
no,
have our
you
own
can't.
personal non-disclosure agreement within the Dub Talk.
And Roots, I am watching you.
All right, come on, let's lock and load. Time to take control.
Now, Anastasia Munoz, you would have heard as Kiyosawagi and Bento, Monomi in Danganronpa.
And he's gonna do the rap. He's
was
gonna
it-
do the rap. He's gonna do the rap.
Was it both the game and the movie, or the anime?
No, it was not. You're going to
Okay.
talk to me and bring that insult to my house. Fuck you.
Okay, well, she played Monomi in the Danganronpa anime,
Yeah, that's correct.
and Ima no Tsurugi in Tokenrambu Hanamaru.
Roots, you gotta do the rap.
But I don't actually know the rap, but
The rap.
I have one more.
Time to lose control. Time to lock and load. Time to lose control. Lose control. Lose control. Lose control.
Andrew, I got one more I gotta say. I'm legally obligated to say it every time I bring up Anastasia Munoz.
Say it.
Do it!
Her name is Coco. She is loco. And I said,
Oh, no!
She plays Coco Hekmatyar in Jormungand. So, gentlemen, what did we think of our bureaucratic buddies?
I have a confession to make, and this is gonna sound really, really embarrassing.
Go ahead.
Go on.
For the longest time, listening to the dub, I honestly thought Naito was being voiced by Anthony Bowling.
Really? You could.
That's reasonable.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, he's goofy enough, I guess.
Yeah.
but-
Well, I've always said that Anthony Bowling is kind of a younger, geekier Chuck Huber, and it took me until just now to realize that, hey, it's actually Chuck Huber. And now,
There you go. Theory proven.
yeah. And so,
Have you ever
I
seen them
kind
in
of
the same room? Boom. Same person.
they look nothing alike, but exactly, that's a really great makeup job. But no, at first I thought, considering I thought it was Anthony Bowling, I thought this guy sounds way too young to be voicing Naito. And I still think that is the case with Chuck Huber. He does sound a bit too young for the role. I mean, it's more fitting with Chuck than it is with Anthony. But I think he's a bit more youthful than what the role really requires, in my personal opinion. It's not bad. I just think it could have been a little better proportion, like with someone like Kent Williams.
Would you say he's less pervy than the Japanese?
I would a bit,
I would.
honestly. Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of proportions,
Maybe not by much.
anyway,
Not by
speaking
much,
of
no.
proportions,
There's a
Ichijo,
difference.
what'd you think?
Ichijo.
Let it go, man.
I liked her. And I agree with Andrew. I like her better in her suit than in the maid outfit, not only in appearance, but also in personality-wise, because she seems much more down to earth, much more human than she is when she's sort of on the job and performing as a Dream of Alice. She's willing to bring milkshakes and burgers from Carl's Jr., which is awesome. I would,
Sponsor.
yeah,
Not really.
eat like you mean it. I mean, and but
Ding.
yeah.
Give us money, Carl's Jr.
And for my last for Noriko, this is news to me. I'm honest. I'm flabbergasted that this slipped past me, as I honestly thought it was Kristen McGuire, to be perfectly honest. Because something about it, just about Madeline's performance, sounds like something that Kristen McGuire would sound like, and so take that as you will.
I'm gonna take that as your ears need fine tuning.
Yeah, probably. Well, I was more than likely very intoxicated when I was watching these episodes, so that might have had something to do with it.
That would do it.
Well,
Could have played
this
a
show
factor.
doesn't actually exist. You envisioned the whole thing in a alcohol fever dream.
This show, yeah, it's actually 3 pugs in a man suit.
We spent 90 minutes doing this fucking prank on you, bro.
You got punked.
This show is Roots of Justice. It's 3 pugs in a man suit.
Anyways, speaking of pranks, Noah.
Wait, what?
Forget about it. Continue.
So I like Naito just as much in the English as the Japanese, mostly because he doesn't try to match the sleazier portrayal that the Japanese had. It's a very different interpretation. It's a little more likable, actually, which is good because as an intermediary between the normal humans, that being Zoroku, and I suppose what they call the facility, we needed someone who could act as an ambassador, and he pulled that off really well. So I give props to Chuck for taking the role and not being as silly with it. Though maybe I should attribute that more to good direction as well. As for computer hacker extraordinaire, she probably got some of the better one-liners, especially during that helicopter chase scene. I was probably saying that as far as plot-wise goes, she's probably not going to be too relevant to the overarching plot, but I like the little bits of her that we got. And yes, she absolutely needs a bigger budget. It kind of reminded me of that one episode of The Boondocks where a pimp named Slickback is talking to his tech secretary about trying to track down his wife, and she's like, well, if we didn't have dial-up, then maybe we could have better equipment around here. And it's like, bitch, you get back to working. Sorry, that was a tangent. I apologize entirely.
Always want a new iPhone or something.
That was terrible. I'm sorry.
Don't buy avocados. Maybe you could afford a house. Okay, where am I hearing that laughing come from?
Goddamn
Hate
millennials.
avocados. I just pointing that out there.
Well, maybe that's why you have a wife and family. Fucking millennials.
You heard it here, folks. Don't buy avocados. Mostly because they taste terrible, but also because it means you can afford a house and a wife.
And speaking
Guacamole's
of wives,
okay,
what'd
though.
you think of Ichijo?
Oh, I thought Ichigo was great. I didn't even, I don't know if you guys were the same thing, but I didn't realize that she was the same character from episode 1 until she goes full on Sailor Moon and does her kick-assing Transformers sequence. But yeah, and that part where she's acting as a believable 26-year-old business girl, I was like, I'm really getting into this. She's got she's a different personality than any of the other characters we'd seen so far. And yeah, I don't know I've heard Anastasia in anything else before, but I'm going to definitely keep an ear out for her in anything else that she does in the future. 2 thumbs up. 2 avocados up.
I think I was a little surprised with Anastasia actually being Ichijo, just because I was anticipating, like, I feel like I associate Anastasia with like younger-ish characters, so not Anastasia with like older characters. But then I think about it, Coco was kind of a similar deal, where it's like a mix between both. So I guess I could kind of get that vibe from Ichijo as well, and I think she pulls it off pretty good. She's very authoritative, which is why I think she actually does work for this particular role as like a sort of official bureaucrat that's trying to help out with these particular situations. And like I said, she's much cooler and kick-ass and hotter in the business suit. We need more ladies in suit. Fucking Chain from Blood Blockade is the best when it comes to that. Or actually,
KK's good too.
KK is good too, but women in suits. Fuck, come on. Anyways, Noriko Yamada, I don't have much to say for her. She's cute, she's got glasses, and that girl needs a bigger budget. And Chuck, I think actually does this role really well. He plays off of Zoroku's much sterner old fart vibe with trying to be a little more laid back and friendly, especially when he is dealing with these younger characters who are supposed to be dreams of Alice. And it's like, what do you do with a lot of these younger children that have big powers and you don't really know how to control them? You're not going to be aggressive and try to force them to come with you. You need somebody who's very good at being light and calm, and maybe calming down the mood a little bit, making them feel a little happy. And it's like, I think this is a better interpretation of that in the English, because whether intentional or not, it does sound a little gruffer and slimier, even if that's not intentional. This sounds a little more happy-go-lucky and like friendlier to me.
Just remember, everyone, the key to a child's heart is a milkshake from Carl's Jr.
Carl's Jr. We sponsored
eat
your
like
Rick
you
and Morty
mean it.
marathon.
We should probably point out that we're
Eat
not
like you
being
mean
sponsored
it.
by them
Junior,
whatsoever.
give us money.
By the way, Carl's Jr., we will totally take that sponsorship. Thank you.
Some of us have never even eaten at a Carl's Jr.
I have.
You're not missing
It's all right.
much. It's probably the worst possible thing you could ever put in your body.
Damn it! You will not screw up the sponsorship.
I mean, it's no Wendy's or anything, but you know.
Like, it is absolutely awful for you, but is so good to you.
Frisco burgers, baby. Frisco.
All right.
Okay, alright, everybody's had a turn. Gotta say, I love Chuck Huber's Reunito. His kind of grumbling, I'm a cop who's seen some shit routine. It was absolutely great, and I love his buddy-buddy dynamic with Zoroku.
That's a good point. The fact that that Zoroku has someone to work off of that's like his equal, that's a good point.
I also like the dynamic between Madeline Morris and Anastasia Munoz. There really wasn't a lot to Noriko just yet, but I do like that she likes to, I do like that she plays the doting quote-unquote friend pretty well. Shizuku is a pretty well-rounded cop character. Anastasia plays her well. I really like the reveal at the end of episode 4 when she spawns the sword and she's all badass.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slow burn in the reveal. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I had a little bit of a hard time following who some of the characters were when they started to reveal who was on what sides.
I could follow it a little bit, but it was definitely a little harder to see at first. On a rewatch, though, it was easier to pick up.
Yeah.
So who's on first?
I don't know. Actually, I have an anime theory. Let me hear your opinions on this. Do you think her budget is being spent on getting these children fast food?
Considering Carl's
they do
Jr.'s,
eat a lot.
considering the prices from Carl's Jr., it would not surprise me at all. You know, because the last anime I watched that had Carl's Jr. in it, Akiba's Trip, you see Matame with this table full of thick burgers. And I'm like, that girl has got to have dropped a solid $1,000 on lunch. Because those burgers are not cheap. They really aren't. They're like $8 a pop.
Carl's Jr., we love you. Please, please give the sweet cinnamon roll a fucking budget. Okay. That's all I have to say.
Not to mention all the calories and saturated fat in those
somehow-
things.
Mhm.
Oof.
Oh, they'll kill you, but they're delicious. You'll die with a smile on your face.
absolutely.
There's a reason they keep running out of energy. It's it's a short-term gain, long-term loss.
Anyway.
But you will die with a smile on your face.
Speaking of smiles, I think now's a good time to move on to our next segment of the night.
Worst
You and your
segues
goddamn
ever,
segues,
Andrew.
Andrew.
These are the best segues, and this segue is brought to you by Snickers. All my segues are sponsored by
God
Lady
damn
and
it,
Gentlemen.
Andrew.
I'm fucking dead.
God damn it.
He's trying to get us a budget to work off of. Let the man work.
kidding.
Jesus.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ding.
It's a little hot in here. Let me take my shirt off. Companies. You like what you see? I know you do.
To
All right.
everyone, we do not know this
Okay.
Andrew guy either.
Okay.
We just picked him off the side of the road.
Yes.
Pugwa-sampa. Alright, let's get back to things. Basically, some more people from the facility. We have Koichi Kito. He's the mysterious boss of this four-name facility, whatever it is. And we have Mini C Tachibana. Basically a liaison from the U.S. Army who can summon her husband's arms, and she's a total fucking weeaboo.
Okay.
She's also a total fucking MILF.
She isn't technically summoning her husband's arms. It's more or less she is imagining the embrace of her husband's arms, and she summons like a copy
It doesn't
of
stop it from looking creepy when there's a
Exactly.
thousand of them being shot at with machine guns.
Oh, it's so fucking creepy, but I think that's kind of why I really like this character.
Guys, it's Nico Robin with manly arm hair.
Oh. No. Because my Robin,
Wow.
Sweetie Pie, is a beautiful angel who can do no wrong except for the time she helped enslave an entire nation. But
Oops, it happens.
it happens to the best of us, you know.
I think Don East is going to castrate me for that remark.
Oh,
Alright, so gentlemen, what's your predictions?
My predictions for these two, Koichi really reminded me of the guy from Shonen Maid who was Madoka's assistant. And so, as a result, I casted our Lord and Savior Todd effing Habercorn. Yeah. And for Mini C, I think I had a couple. Yes, I had two predictions. I went.
She had a cup.
I had a cup. Yes. Yeah, because not only she is a total weeaboob, she's also a total MILF, and I like to say, but
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Did we establish that she had any kids?
no,
No.
she doesn't have any kids, but she's
doesn't have
old
any
enough to
children.
have.
She's
do you not know what-
basically like the mother figure to the kid.
Okay,
Right.
I was gonna say we do know what MILF stands for, right?
She's the step MILF or the foster MILF. if
I
you
guess "wilf"
want
isn't
to
really
get-
a popular phrase, is it?
the filth. Oh, that just sounds bad.
Yeah, like
Stop. No,
Wolf
no.
Okay,
brings up.
stop,
yeah.
stop.
Anything that ends with "ilf" it gets cut from the audio.
look, Hardy, you're gonna get a major figure for that coming your way if you don't stop talking and get back on track, okay?
Right. Anyways, no.
Yeah,
She,
let's move on to predictions before we get in trouble. from our
predictions.
editors.
Okay. No. No. I actually predicted two actresses. I had Morgan Garrett and I had Lydia Mackey because both of them have played maternal figures in the past, and I think that their voices would lend well to this militaristic and yet at the same time very motherly character who longs for her dead husband, basically.
So, I will see your motherly figures, and I will raise you one badass woman. And that when we get Mini C's first introduction, she's like low voiced and very she's gonna kill everyone kind of personality. And there's two voice actresses who fill that niche. And I was like, okay, I gotta do a coin flip to figure out which one I'm gonna put this time. And it landed on heads, so I put Trina Nishimura.
I
Okay.
can see that, yeah.
It's just I know I gotta stop comparing Japanese archetypes to like English equivalents, but it just seemed to match the character design.
It sometimes helps.
Speaking of matching character designs, it's interesting you mentioned Anthony Bowling earlier, Hardy, because I thought of him as the facility director guy,
Okay.
not because of personality exactly, but because the design of the character reminded me a bit of the scientist guy in Handshakers, and which is a very different personality entirely. It wasn't really the best show to begin with, but it's still the timbre from Anthony's performance. I thought we'll just change the personality but put it in his voice, and there's our badass director. Let's lock up little girls and do terrible things to them. Happy times all around.
You know, as upsetting as it is for me to admit this is the segment to talk about hands. Okay. Anyways. I like the slow reaction to that. I appreciate that. Anyway.
Any excuse to talk about the best show from the winter season.
All
is a
right,
good
now
one.
you're pushing it. Shut your whore mouth. Anyways.
Kobayashi Dragon Maid? I know what you're talking about.
Anyways.
Akia Strip? Never heard of it.
Mini C, I had two predictions for her. I had both Colleen Clinkenbeard, because she's done very, like, caring, affectionate, paternal figures, and crazy people as well. And for this one, I actually had Dawn Bennett, since I've seen her use, like, her more mature voice, and I wasn't sure if they were trying to make her be, like, she is a little younger looking, so it's possible they could have had a younger-ish person with who can pull off an older range. As for Keto, this was actually where I predicted Chuck Huber for this one, since I kind of saw he looked a little more like that kind of role, since that's a little more devious. And I also predicted, possibly enough, David Matranga.
Okay, so for Koichi Kito, I basically predicted Christopher Bevins, because his, I really like that really kind of low, intimidating vibration to his voice. I thought it would really fit for Koichi. And
if they wanted to make it a little more menacing, you mean, than the Japanese?
Yeah.
Okay, because the Japanese one is not menacing. It's more like the plotter in the shadows performance in the Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but I mean, Bevins can go from like incredibly menacing to like an older brother role pretty quickly and easily. So that's basically my thought process. And for Mini C, I actually kind of went with her character design a bit, and I predicted Morgan Berry.
Really?
Really? I can see it, but
Well, it's a bit my
yeah,
first choice, yeah.
maybe.
It just kind of looked like it would fit.
To try to break her out of the younger character voices we've heard her in the past.
That too.
I could think about it when I think about it. She is like a military type as well, so in that regard, I can see it. But it almost seems like when she is working with this facility, she's almost tried working on this more like feminine kimono vibe that she's trying to work in.
Well, she's got a bit of a different.
Well, I mean, it's clearly a facade, but
yeah, I was gonna say her motivation is much different than everyone else. She says that their motivation for trying to harness this power, this warp the universe mentality is, well, we're gonna create clean energy for the world. But we know from her past
she
that
doesn't give a fuck
she
about
does,
the world.
No, all she wants. It's basically Master of Martial Arts. You know, she just wants her friend back.
What is with you and referencing garbage tonight? What the fuck?
This is a whole subgenre. Let's fight everyone for the magic to make our dreams come true. Have you not seen Dragon Ball Z?
And now you're bringing in Dragon Ball. Who are you?
What have you done with Noah?
I've lost my intelligence for the night.
All right. Speaking of our intelligence, Roots.
We were all pretty damn wrong about
What are you talking
this.
about?
Well,
Except for
Oh, actually, no. Andrew, you were pretty spot on one of them. Playing Koichi Kito, we have Christopher Weckhamp. And playing Mini C Tachibana, we have Colleen Klinkenbeard.
Is it Weecamp?
Way Camp.
Okay.
Weckhamp, okay.
Now, you know, I said that I had a coin flip for Mini C and it landed on heads. If it had been tails, I would have put Colleen Klinkenbeard.
Good to know. Good to know.
Hey, there you go.
Anyways.
Okay, so you would know Christopher Weckhamp from All Out as Takuya Sekizan. He was also Lieutenant Sakuma in Joker Game, Tenkakumo in Laughing Under the Clouds, and Tatara in Tokyo Ghoul. Now, Colleen Klinkenbeard has been in quite a bit, but you would probably recognize her most as Gohan from Dragon Ball Z from Kai On, Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece, Jeanne d'Arc from Drifters, Ritsuko Akari from the rebuild side of Evangelion, and Momo Yaoyorozu from My Hero Academia.
If we want to talk about more
can't
trash
believe-
shows, she's also the lead character in Brothers Conflict.
That's another story.
Can't believe you're just going to leave Riza Hawkeye out like that.
Or
And Riza Hawkeye, yeah, we can go with Riza.
also,
And
since-
don't forget that Christopher Weckhamp is also the new voice of Eraserhead in Season 2 of My Hero Academia.
Okay.
Taking over from
and
Alex
he's the new
Zoroku.
Eraserhead.
all right. So, who's gonna start us off?
Honestly, we haven't heard much from Kito just yet. But I think he accomplishes what needs to be done with the role.
Agreed.
Now, Roots, you wanted to bring something out special about Mini C. And
Oh, that is right.
yes. Easter eggs. So I'm going to let you talk about that.
It's a fun little Easter egg. Basically, there was a scene in episode 3, a flashback, where Minnie C recalls how she met her husband, how he met his demise, and how she basically got her powers. Her husband, Joe, is played by her real-life husband.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's his name is Patrick Carroll, and he is a voice actor himself and a comedian. You've probably heard him. He basically does background roles almost entirely, but you might have heard him as Gyaro or King Du in One Piece, and most recently, his most prominent role is as Matsuo in All Out, aka the guy with a really flat face and the massive blonde fro, who wants
Oh, that guy?
that guy. Yes, the guy who actually wants.
Okay.
Yeah, who near the end of the series, he has his doubts about staying in rugby. That's the guy. That's his biggest role so far. And
Wow.
I learned
that's-
something today,
That's
and I hope
awesome.
you did too.
yeah, but that's literally a husband and wife team voicing husband and wife characters.
Look, if you're gonna go for authenticity in terms of like performance and emotional impact, that's a good way to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah. More of that. We need more of that. And we were talking in the Dub Talk chat about how many voice actors like are married and have kids, and I think we broke GG with how many people we listed.
Look, let's put it like this. It is not our place to discuss as gossip and relationships, only when they come to being relevant in terms of the source material, which in this case, it actually is.
Yes.
Yeah,
Totally.
and I think it's absolutely adorable how they handle it. On her own, Colleen definitely brings a presence to Minnie C, both maternally and as a really threatening, antagonistic figure. She shoots a little girl in the legs.
Yeah, what the fuck? That scene,
So,
I mean, they throw the "she's not human" card at it,
everything
but
about that scene was fucked.
It was like that
Yeah.
was when we crossed the line from this is kind of cute too. Holy shit! It's the revival of Elfin Lied.
yeah. So, yeah, I think she just did a great job. And kudos to Cliff for casting both Colleen and Patrick together in this one role, because I think it was just really, really clever.
That was neat.
I'll agree with that. I can't think of any heartless people out there like, I don't like husband-wife voice acting together. It's like, no, screw you. This is sweet and adorable, and it needs to be appreciated.
Speaking of marriage, Noah, what'd you think?
Well, marriage has been pretty good so far. About 3 years now. I'd say.
No, you fucking idiot.
Oh, you didn't want some inside information?
No, we're trying to stay on topic because we're being sponsored by Hardee's.
Yes. What?
No, I meant
What about me?
Hardee's / Carl's Jr. The people that are
okay.
paying us to do the thing that we're not doing because anime.
I'm gonna stick to checkers. Thank you very
Carl's
much.
Jr. Fuck you. I'm eating.
Well, speaking of fuck you, talking about Mini C, my favorite performance in the whole dub so far is Colleen Klinkenbeard's part. She's perky, yet she's vulnerable, and she's a very understandable kind of sinister. Like, we remember characters who are motivated, like they have an end goal they want to get to, and she's got one that you can really relate to. Like, even in the very first episode, her power, the camera focused specifically on the wedding ring on her husband's arms, quote unquote. And so you get very early on that she's all about remorse from her lost husband. Colleen pours a ton of heart into that I think just blows everyone else in the cast out of the water. We need more Colleens. Like, we need at least 2 Colleens to fill this world with. And then Christopher, like you said, he doesn't really get too much speaking roles so far. He's just kind of the voice in the background there. But he doesn't do anything wrong with it. So I'm going to say that it's good for what he has to work with. And I'd just like to say that at that part where Minnie takes out the gun and just shoots Sana in the leg there, I'm thinking to myself, the phrase that comes to my mind is just, son of a bitch. And at that same moment, one of the characters says, Sana! And I just filled it in. It's like, Sana, the bitch!
Get me a drink.
You're gonna need some alcohol for that bullet wound. Anyways, Christopher as Kito, it's very interesting to me. I actually almost thought it was David Matranga at a couple of moments.
So did I.
Like,
so did I.
It sounds very much like him to me. And I think the thing that's interesting to me about Kito is that like this is the antagonistic faction, but they don't appear on the surface diabolically evil. He seems controlling, but not evil. Like, it almost seems like an ideological difference between these two factions of whether they should control these people with powers and experiment on them, or let them be free individuals and let them choose their own path. I think that's where the conflict is not a matter of like, oh, we're the evil people, we're the good people, because he clearly seems to be caring for these kids and like wants help from them or to help them in some way, just not in a way that like she agreed with, because she was totally cool with living this life until she saw somebody fucking explode into a horrible creation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you want to talk about ideological evil, or you want to talk about bloodshed?
Now, speaking of bloodshed, motherfucking Mini C Tachibana. This is really interesting to me as a character because, as I was saying with Cleo, smiling all the time is almost like never smiling. Everything about her is so chipper yet empty. Like, I can feel this happiness and this joyful appearance from her almost all the time, but it almost always sounds like a hollow performance, almost to the credits. And then when you see the true colors, like, of her in the car and learning more about her, it's very clear she doesn't give a fuck about these kids. Because you said, like, she was supposed to be the mother figure, and I was going to argue that she doesn't give a fuck about these kids. To her, they are a means to an end for her possibly seeing her hubby one day again. And that, like you mentioned, you were going to say the phrase regression. It almost seems like, in a way, her trauma loss of her husband has regressed her as a person. Because all she talks about when you first introduce her is, my husband really would have liked this. My husband loved Japan. My husband was like in the war. I was in the war with my husband. And it's like, at first I'm like, okay, this is a little annoying. We get it. Her quirk is her husband. No, her quirk is her husband.
This isn't My Hero Academia, Andrew. They're not called quirks.
No, but it's like, her thing is her husband, almost to a detrimental level. And like, the lengths she will go, and the fact that she doesn't consider Sana a child, she considers her subhuman and inhuman, and the disregard and disrespect for her, and like, she's got her in a scary situation for anybody. She is being held down against her will, and she's fucking tied up and blindfolded. She's fucking terrified. She's drugged. And she shoots her without a second thought. She almost brings the old man to deafness when she shoots the gun. She is a scary person to me. The fakeness of her smiley face is scary and unnerving to me. And I think Colleen actually does a really whole lot to address that and pull that off. And I think she does spectacularly with that. Because it's like, I feel like Quito there's like two sides to that. I feel Mini C is very diabolical.
It's definitely the most dynamic character of the cast, because everyone else is very simple motivations, it seems. This seems to be the most complex, or at least the most adult one.
Who's humming like that?
I think Hardy's trying to say it's...
Oh my god, that's from
we
Lucky
need to get
Star!
going.
I was thinking that was from Lucky Star. That's why I thought it was you.
By the way, happy birthday, Kanata Izumi.
Hey.
This moment brought to you by Pocky. Pocky, making anime since 2007.
Also brought to you by Bandai Entertainment. We're dead.
Also brought to you by Chocolate Cornets.
No.
What do they call it?
Chocolate Cornettes. No. Just no.
Which end do you eat from? We don't give a fuck. Shut up.
Just eat it.
Just eat it.
Anyways, Roots.
Stop being a bitch and eat it. All right.
Roots, please take a hold of this episode.
Yeah. So truth be told, I expected Koichi to be played with a little more blatant menace than the final product delivered. That said, his almost older brotherly tone to the kids, and then he turns around with cold cynicism to, like, everybody else around him in the facility, that actually sent a pretty big chill down my spine. Chris Waycamp is good at what he does. It's probably the first antagonistic role I've heard him play. I'm sure he's played others, but it's, the first I've actually heard. Colleen, on the other hand, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, she is a complete hollow shell. She can play maternal. She can be, like, this absolutely intimidating mercenary. Now, this is gonna sound strange because people often complain about it in dubs, but I think she needs, like, a little bit of an accent just to indicate her American origins, because as Noah brought up earlier in the episode, the character designs really aren't clear.
I don't... Like what? You want her to don a drawl?
Like just a very...
Y'all need to...
Like a very subtle Texan
I
accent.
feel like she's like American-Japanese, too.
I don't think so.
Well, she's fully American, and she married a Japanese man. That's
Actually,
why her last name is Tachibana.
Oh, wait.
I
His
don't
name's
think
Joe.
so.
Yeah, I think he was just a fanboy.
Oh.
Like, they go out of the way to specify he loved Japan as we were flying over Mount Fuji, and that's why I wear a kimono, because it turned him on.
Okay,
I thought-
weird.
He
I
was
thought
also
he
a
was-
very large blonde man.
Okay, I didn't notice the hair
Honestly,
color.
So
it
Tachi-
makes sense to me that Tachibana would have been like part Asian, part Japanese.
Okay,
There's
that's
there's
fair.
a possibility in there, but I mean, he's buried in an American coffin, so he was clearly an American citizen.
Yeah, I had assumed, because you usually take the male last name when you marry into a family.
And also the fact that she has a middle initial, I'm assuming that means her middle name. Although, I wasn't sure if that was her middle name or that was her maiden
Right.
name.
Could have been. Who knows?
I don't know.
But again, you know, the show is specifically trying to portray her as American. Maybe a slight Texas accent or Southern drawl would help out just a little bit. It doesn't have to be all-encompassing. Just needs a little something.
I think it's pretty good regardless. It's just...
Absolutely.
Wouldn't change a thing.
Anyways, I think we've had a little enough of the crazies. I think we need something a little fluffier on the menu.
Sweeter.
Oh, you think this is not insane? Oh, boy, we'll have words.
Okay, so moving on, we have Sanae Kashimura, basically Zoroku's granddaughter.
Basically.
Adopted in...
Biologically.
She is. She is biologically Zoroku's granddaughter. He adopted her after her parents died.
Yeah.
As well as a bug
And
that
that's
she
a
also
thing.
dug graves for.
And a goldfish, which I'm assuming is the
And a
goldfish from
goldfish.
Takashi Kashi.
Yeah. And she basically acts as an older sister to Sana.
Food alien.
I love her.
I like the
She is adorable.
All right.
character. Okay.
So did we have predictions?
I did.
Yes.
Yes.
I had.
Yes.
I had 2.
All right, go for it.
Not to be offensive to the actress in question, but Sanae kind of gave me the impression of a very endearing, well-meaning, very sweet airhead. And not calling this actress an airhead, but she plays
Oh no.
this role very well. I actually predicted Tia Ballard.
Okay,
Okay.
I can see it.
Yeah. And actress does not equate actual personality.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which incidentally is the same. Well, actually, I think my character guess is like this. I put Bryn April because she's also very adorable. And yes, I know Jamal is squealing in the background. Oh my god, I love Bryn April! But I think in this role here, it would have fit really well because she has to be cute, but she also has to be a little bit of a space cadet. And I don't think I've heard Bryn play that kind of cute before.
I would also agree with Bryn April, as that was one of my predictions as well. My other one being for Alexis Tipton, because she has also played similar cutesy big sister type roles as well.
When I was compiling my predictions, Sanae was basically the last character that I tried to figure out. I had a lot of trouble with her, basically pinning down her voice. It ended up being a dart on the dartboard, and I picked Jade Saxon.
I can see it.
Yeah, after her role as I can't remember her name from Kobayashi Dragon Maid now.
Kana.
Who's Kana? I was gonna say Kanai, but
Kana.
that's not right. Yeah, Kana from last season. That would have fit. So did we get it right?
One of us did.
One of you got it right.
Yeah.
The actual actor for Sanae Kashimura is Tia Ballard. Now then, you can hear Tia Ballard as Beast in Black Butler Book of Circus, Happy in Fairy Tale, Tomomi and Fuka, and Nanako Akiyama, aka Set, in Not Okay.
Bad
The
feelings.
greatest show from 2016.
Oh, let's not. I had my whole fit about that indie way in it. But first, who wants to go first about talking about best sister ever?
I will. I think she is best sister ever. I think she's absolutely adorable in this role, and even going through the emotional parts in her past, losing her parents and her goldfish and her bug, and being stuck with her grumpy granddad. She is so positive and so up-hearted that you just can't help but just feel a tug on your heartstrings for you, you know? She's just a good girl, trying to do good things, especially for this girl she's never met before, who is weird, who can do things she's never understood, and it's like it doesn't even matter to her. You know, she's just, for her, she's like, oh, wow, you can summon pigs like nothing. Let me make you breakfast. oh, wow, you created a giant pancake. That's pretty cool, but, it's a bit too big. Let me make you some smaller ones. Nothing phases her. And that's what's so cool. Is like, she's different, and that's okay. Nothing is wrong. You're different. That's fine. Let me help you out anyways. And that's what I really appreciate about this character. And I think Tia plays her so well.
She almost died 3 times that day, and then she reacted more when she saw some baby penguins.
Yeah. Oh, wait, well, baby penguins will bring that out to you. Have you ever seen baby penguins in real life, Andrew?
They're amazing. They are amazing.
I have seen
Baby
them.
penguins are awesome.
I've been like 2 feet away from baby penguins.
They are.
They smell terrible. They're foul. Foul-smelling creatures, but they really, really are cute. I need to send you the picture of the one little sick baby penguin. His fuzz had fallen out, and so they put him up in this little jacket. It was so adorable. But yeah, no, I really liked Tia in this role. I think Sanai as a character is great, and I think Tia plays her really well.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely awesome. Free Grape Coon 2017.
Tia needs to voice Hululu if Kimono ever gets a dub. I'm saying
That was
that would
not
be
nearly
great.
popular enough in America to warrant a dub.
you'd be surprised.
Well,
Who
okay, now it is
knows?
just because it's become retroactively cool. I think it's time for salt, gentlemen. We've had a very sweet ride, but I think it's finally time to pour some salt on this Alice Zoroku episode. Shall we?
Ruh-roh.
Salt trade! Pull it into the
Tia
station.
Ballard was my least favorite performance in the dub of this show. Not because not because okay, of course the obvious line. She didn't do anything wrong, but okay.
All right, what's your reasoning?
Okay, the Japanese performance of Sanai is a space cadet who. Okay, if I offend anyone on this, I apologize, but I understand that her her grief is kind of what's fueling her weird personality. But her performance in the Japanese made me think that she might be slightly autistic, and I don't know. It wasn't supposed to be. Well, it was supposed to be kind of cute, obviously, but it was in a way that I never quite heard another Japanese performance of this the moe archetype quite like that. It was very spacey and very unconventional, and I didn't get that from Tia. She's very normal. She's big sisterly. But she's not. There's not enough lunacy in her voice. Not enough to really bring out Sanai's entire crazy character, and I missed that.
You're saying she needs to go more Haruhi Suzumiya type.
Yeah, I guess Haruhi Suzumiya type would have kind of worked out. I mean, the character who came to mind more was actually Jerry from Digimon Tamers, mostly because she has a hand puppet.
Yeah,
She had
I
a
could
pig
see
hand
that.
puppet, and who else do we know in anime who has a hand puppet? Scary Jerry.
There's a-
Woof woof. Jerry from
I'm going to
Digimon,
reference every
woof.
series I can in this episode. So
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, I wasn't blown away by Tia's performance, and it's mostly just because my expectation for it was going to be closer to the Japanese crazier portrayal. The way she interprets it for an English role works okay. It's just not the way I would have directed someone to act it.
I'm gonna be honest. I hated the Japanese performance of this character. Something about I think you were correct that it sounded different than what this character sounded, but I feel like the sort of airheadedness was almost less full of air and more full of she sounded like she was stoned
Yeah.
to me in Japanese.
Internet
You're not wrong.
She sounded stoned to me, and
Yeah.
I thought that was off and weird. I take back a little bit, when I think the possibility of the interpretation of it being the character is a little off, but the way that the actress in Japanese was giving it, it sounded like it was almost too off, too high. No, okay, it was it's either the voice was too high or the voice was too high. And that's something that really irked me, which I felt like Tia Ballard kind of brought it a little more level to me, which I felt like worked a little better. I think she can pull off a little bit of that like chill craziness, and I think that maybe might be something she should push a little more for, especially if when we're going to broadcast materials to DVD materials. But I actually did enjoy Tia's interpretation of this character, especially when compared to the Japanese, which I actually thought was a little too high and a little too annoying for me, even if I did enjoy the character both languages.
All right, personality. Yeah, okay. Preferences split, I guess, on this one.
So I have to say, I actually did like Tia Ballard's older sister dynamic. As a character, Sanae kind of has to roll with a lot of punches. I would almost consider her a second straight man, alongside Zoroku.
I don't know about strict.
Almost.
You mean like as a contrast to Sana?
Okay, maybe you're...
Basically,
Yeah.
the stricter parents versus like the more lax older sister.
Okay.
Right.
It's a dynamic that I think actually works very well for them together, where it's like, why would these two so different people get along and love each other as they do? But it's like it's that thing that brings them together, and I think that actually works really well.
It's 'cause her family. I do want to give special considerations to episode 2, when Sana probes her memories and she gets to the part where she's burying the bug and the goldfish and she's making the little graves for her parents. I really like that scene. Tia Ballard was able to kind of give it a vulnerability.
You know what scene I really liked? Pigs!
And she can also squee when little piggies appear
Oh
out of
my
nowhere.
god, those pigs are adorable! And I love that she's doing the little sock puppet thing and she's trying to be cute, and then she summons a bunch of pigs, and then there's all the pigs, and oh my god, those pigs are adorable, and then they ate the pancake. She almost died that day, but she had like the best day of her life. It was great.
You know,
And then the government people took all the pigs away except for the one with the black spot.
Yeah, because the black spot is the one. He's the cutest.
they'll be taken to a government facility, but they won't
Yeah,
be
he
harmed.
is.
But they'll do tests on them, but they won't be harmed.
Yeah, they're gonna become
But
bacon.
we're gonna turn them into bacon.
Yeah.
But they won't be harmed.
See, the government facility was actually Carl's Jr. all along.
Head cannon. Head cannon. God damn it, Andrew.
Okay.
The only thing we need to finish this episode is an audio cameo from the announcer guy from Arby's.
Okay.
We have the meats.
I think.
There
I
we go.
Think we said
Episode done.
We said all we can about Sanae. She's adorable. I love her, and we're all very split on her performance.
Moving on, we have Zoroku Kashimura. The gruff old man who don't take shit from no one.
Specifically, he does not like crooked stuff at all.
I'm gonna turn that into a t-shirt.
Not one bit.
He hates crooked stuff with a passion. And also a damn good florist.
Yeah, can we talk about the how he's introduced? About they psych you out.
Oh, you think he's got like some sort of sketchy practice because he's like in the Yakuza's office, and then it turns out like the reason he was at the Yakuza's place because he needed a really nice flower to propose to his girlfriend.
And you're watching this and you just feel like a dick for thinking that he was a bad guy at first.
Because it seemed contradictory. Like, how could you hate crooked stuff if you're with the Yakuza? It's like, oh.
Also, special props to Mob Boss Tatum for completely getting cold feet.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
Yes.
Alright, so basically, he's basically one of the most straightforward characters of the series. So,
He is the straight
guys-
When
man.
you're 72,
he is
yeah, you're gonna be
completely-
you kind of lost all of your humor over the years.
I can drop dead at any moment. I don't have time for this CG animu bullshit.
Oh my god. worst CGI cars
All right.
ever.
Did we go this whole episode without bringing that up?
No, I brought it up in the
okay.
intro. All right, so what did we have for predictions?
I had 3 predictions, actually. Yeah, originally I only had 2, and that's because I was going with the general old men that we usually cast for this type of character in Funimation roles. And for the old men actors, I kind of went basic. I picked R. Bruce Elliott
Okay.
and Mark
Okay.
Stoddard, because they've
Yeah.
both played characters very similar to Zoroku. But then a thought occurred to me, just for fun, just to see if he could do
I
it.
think I know where this is going.
Oh boy.
You know who I would kind of like to see cast as
Mike
Zoroku?
McFarland?
Damon Mills.
Oh, that's not where I thought this was going.
Just-
That goddamn wizard.
Just to see if he could freaking
You
do
know
it.
he could. You absolutely know that he could.
Oh, he
He
absolutely
probably could. I'm not. He has
That
proven
guy
me wrong.
is a monster.
He's a
He
beast.
cannot be stopped.
But you know, yeah.
Can't stop. Won't
So that's
stop.
who I picked for Zoroku.
All right.
I was also a bit archetypal as well, and I had to think of a recent anime role from Funimation that involved a gruff older guy mentoring a younger character. Now, do we know any anime films that were like that came out recently? Maybe one's directed by a Japanese director who has an affinity for furries by any means. Does anyone know any movies that came out that were like that?
I think I
Nope,
see
nope.
where you're going with this
Didn't he
one.
direct,
Didn't
like,
direct
a
the
One Piece
Digimon
movie or
movie either.
something?
Nope. Yeah, so
Yeah, I think he
Actually,
did.
yeah, he did.
So yeah,
Oh, I see what
having
you're
recently
doing there.
watched The Boy and the Beast,
Being
which
all
is not one of
contrary.
my
I can
episodes
see
of
Viz
Gale,
Zisi's
but does feature
going.
an absolutely stellar cast. Top of the heap, definitely being John Swasey, who plays the lead monster I can never pronounce it correctly. Kumotetsu. Thank you. So that was my prediction for this one. For playing this other
Kumotetsu.
gruff character who takes care of a younger character.
Andrew?
Oh, sorry. I just had Mark Stoddard for this since I was thinking like old men and funny. Mark Stoddard's a good one of my favorites in that type of archetype, and I thought he would have been good.
Yeah, I too had Mark Stoddard. Apparently all but one of us got this wrong. Playing Zoroku Kashimura, we have John Swasey.
Interesting choice.
You would know John Swasey as The Undertaker from the Black Butler franchise. As mentioned, Kumatetsu in The Boy and the Beast. Daisuke Aramaki and Ghost in the Shell Rise. Sir Crocodile, aka Mr. Zero in One Piece. Chad Atkins in Gangsta. And Gendo Ikari in the Director's Cut episodes and the rebuild movies of Evangelion.
Hot take.
Hot take, go.
Go ahead.
Get your panhandles on, because this is a hot take.
What?
I don't think he sounds old enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay, now this is going to blow your mind. Okay. John Swasey has played old farts almost his entire career.
Is anime even that old?
He has been voicing anime for about 20 years or so now, correct?
I thought
On and off. Anime is quite old. Anime is like, well, Momotaro.
Like, he was in the Ushio and Tora OVAs,
Okay.
right?
Yes, he was. Here's an interesting
Yeah, that
tidbit.
may have been like 25,
Here's a-
30 years ago.
Here is an interesting tidbit that you may not know about John
I thought he
Swasey.
was
How old
45.
do you think John
Somewhere in the
Swasey
mid-40s.
actually is?
48.
John Swasey is actually 52 years old.
Oh, it was close. Okay.
Yeah. Meaning, 20 years ago, he was voicing old fart type characters in his 30s.
What?
Interesting.
Yes. And so, here's the thing. Zoroku is literally 20 years older than him. I think an older actor would have been able to capture the feel of the character better if he was a little bit older. I think John does a great job, I think he's one of my favorite voice actors, and he's been in God knows how many roles. I think he's ranked like 4th in the number of total roles under people like Monica Rial and Lucy Christian. But honestly, I think Zoroku sounds gruff. I think he sounds cranky. I think he sounds like he's had enough of this crap and he hates crooked stuff. John brings all of that to the table, and yet I think the character might have been a bit better if it was within a slightly older voice actor. And John is in his 50s, that's to his credit. But Zoroku is like a bitter old fart who's ready to bite the dust at any second. Yeah, that sounds horrible, I know. But, I mean, we need that extra level of curmudgeon. John gives us, like, high-level curmudgeon. We need extreme-level curmudgeon. But that's just me. That's just me being extremely picky. I think otherwise he does a great job. I know a lot of people really love this performance. I like it. I think it might have been a little bit better, but major props to John Swasey. I think he does a good job.
He doesn't do a bad job, I'll agree with you. I hadn't really thought about the possibility of, well, maybe he should have been played by an older actor. But you probably tell when someone is faking being older than they actually are, right? Like in the same way that you can tell a little boy voiced by a girl is a little boy being voiced by a girl. So that didn't really
A full-grown woman and most
exactly
boys.
like repeat. How old is some of the actors? Or like, well, we don't have to get into exact ages, but like well beyond the age where you would peg them for being able to play young kids. Like Mona Marshall, for example, has been voicing young boys since the time began, and she even came back to voice Izzy in the latest Digimon movie. But that's way off the point here. The point is that John Swasey, brings all the character to it. I'm going to blame any shortcomings of his acting, though, on the character itself. And here's my problem with the show, is that it does not take advantage of the dynamic between Sana and Zoroku. It's got too many other characters that it's focusing on. It never centers back in on them as the main characters. So we've got a great lead male character who doesn't get as much chance to shine by contrasting off of Sana as we'd like to see.
To be fair, though, as of right now, I think the show has like 4 episodes left in Japan. So we could still see that.
We could. We could
guess,
still see more.
No, it's right, because
right now in the dub, it's
7.
heavy in the sci-fi thriller stuff.
Right. I kind of pegged it when I heard the preview of it that was going to be more of a slice of life show, or actually maybe not even slice of life, but more like Michiko and Hachin, where there would be lots of action,
right.
But the heart of it would be the interaction between the two mains. Not really seeing as much of that throughout the show. Like there's pockets of it, but it's not as dominating as something like Michiko and Hachin.
All right. I'm going to go a different route. I'll say I hear what you're saying about how it would have been better to have like a gruffer older person perform this. I almost appreciate that it wasn't what I was expecting. Because like Mark Stoddard, R. Bruce Elliott, they are who you would think for us at this point as like the broadcast old man. But Swayze was an interesting pick. And not one I was actually expecting, even though he's played a lot of older people. But I think he actually really gets the character down pat, almost perfectly. He's grouchy and definitely a little bit uptight, and he just has no time for any of your anime bullshit. He's got no time. I don't care if you just tried killing me. I'm gonna smack you face in for trotting me through that crap. But he feels like hard, not bitter, but like fair. He never seems unfair in his methodology and mentality. And honestly, I feel he really does get this character down perfectly. On the grounds of him sounding a little older, I don't think that's something that necessarily has to be done with the age. I don't think this being played by an older actor would say that. I think that is something that can and will probably be rectified and noted upon the full broadcast release. I think that's something that can be fixed. I think aside from maybe sounding a little older, I think everything else is perfect about this performance, and I would say this is one of my favorites in this dub.
Roots?
Now, do you want Zoroku to put his hand on your head and say, "I don't like crooked stuff"?
No, I want him to give this little child an actual genuine pat on the head instead of punching her.
I feel a little sorry for the 3 kids when he does.
I
He
mean,
sucker punches
to be
them on the
fair,
head.
in that instance, they absolutely deserved it.
Well, yes, I mean, that's not vehicular
I
manslaughter,
want a
but
moment
that's
where
grand
she
theft
does
destruction
something
right there.
good, and he appreciates that, and he actually gives her fair praise. Hopefully that will come later, and hopefully this child will find happiness and be told that she is a good little girl and not subhuman trash. God damn it, Minnie C, why would you do that? Anyways, I'm done.
You want him to give her a hug and a candy.
Yes.
You want to give him a hug,
Specifically
a hug and a candy.
Snickers.
Yeah. Oh, because it does
I
satisfy.
brought it
mean-
back.
Or
Oh, you forgot to give.
or from our new sponsor, Werther's Original.
Also,
The
sponsor.
butterscotch candy your grandma and grandpa have.
Yes. Also sponsoring Metamucil for when you just can't get it through enough.
That was
Okay.
a bad joke.
Citrum Silver.
And that will be remembered
Have we sold
by
out
Pepperidge
enough?
Farm, our new sponsor. They will remember it. They know your fucking search history, Hardy.
Pornhub
Okay,
knows your search history.
Okay, we gotta
wrap
move
it. We gotta
on.
wrap it. Roots.
Truth be told, I didn't even think John Swasey would be an option for this broadcast dub season. I'm sorry, simul-dub season.
Words.
He
Words.
was in Gangsta. You have to remember that.
Yeah.
But that
he-
was like 2 years ago, which is, like 3 decades in anime terms.
So, major props to Clifford Chapin and basically the people in charge of casting for Funimation's Simuldub initiative. Like, this is a really cool thing. And I guess now it pretty much evens out John Swasey in terms of, the great, the kind of okay, and the absolutely shitty father figures he's played. Like, you've got Gendo Ikari, you've got Kuma Tetsu. Like, I think this basically evens him out in terms of those roles.
Because he's not a father figure, he's a grandfather figure.
Oh, wait, hold on.
There you go.
Didn't he play the grumpy neighbor character from Wolf Children as well?
No.
The one that teaches her how to
No.
No.
garden? That wasn't him?
That was Jerry Russell, God bless his soul. We have lost him.
Oh, damn. Sorry.
I like that he takes no shit from nobody. He plays a very great straight man to Sana. And when the character allots, he has a very warm side to him. I just really like John Swasey as Zoroku. It's probably one of my... like Andrew, it's probably one of my favorite roles in the anime.
Now, would you say that the lack of knowing his past takes away from your enjoyment of the character or adds to it?
Absolutely not. It's like he could have been from any environment, and I can still believe this person acting like this. Like, he didn't need a tragic past to be a grumpy old man. He just had to grow up.
Okay, because for me, it's personally taking away a little bit in that, like I said, I wanted the dynamic to focus more on the 2 main characters, and the fact that we know so very little about his past, aside from, obviously, that one of his children has died, and he has his granddaughter, but we don't know much more about him. That's kind of taken me out of enjoying the show as much as I thought I
want
would.
to see more family chemistry, and so do you.
Absolutely.
And speaking...
Like you said, 4 episodes.
Anyways, no family is complete without the precious little Daughteru.
Exactly. So we are now moving on to Sana, the mysterious Dreams of Alice girl, who basically has no limit to her ability.
Except for her calorie intake, apparently.
Yeah.
Which
She can basically rewrite the laws of physics as she sees fit, as long as she has enough energy in her
Also,
body.
we should probably preface this. Her name is actually not, in fact, Alice. This is a mistake we've actually made a couple of times in planning this episode.
Yes.
Her name is not Alice.
She did not have a name originally, and then she was given the name Sana by the twin characters.
My favorite
But her name's not Alice.
My favorite Nintendo character is Metroid.
Well, my favorite Nintendo character is Zelda.
I know, isn't he the best?
Oh, yes, with his green cap and his sword and shield.
We cannot sponsor this episode by Nintendo because they'll DMCA our asses.
Yes.
This episode brought to you by Sega. Sega, pissing off Nintendo since the 1980s.
And pissing off its
Sega
own...
does what Nintendo don't.
And Sega pissing off its own fans ever since Sonic 2006.
All your shitty OCs
Oh,
are
God.
real forever. And speaking of OCs... Actually, I don't think I had a good segue for that one. Anyways, who do we...
You didn't have
Predictions,
any
let's
good
go.
segues this entire episode.
Oh, I will
All
fight
right,
you
all
on
right.
that. Anyways,
Moving on. We got predictions to go through. Hardy, what you got?
Okay, for Sana, a.k.a. Alice herself, let's be real here. Show of hands, if any of us just defaulted to Monica.
I did not.
I did. No, actually, no.
Really?
'Cause
Am I the
had
only one?
Monica.
That would
I
have
had
been
Monica
too obvious.
earlier in my predictions.
Am I the only one?
I could see...
You
I can
are.
see it.
You may
You
have been
are
the
a
only
sh-
one.
Okay.
You are a sheep.
Well-
You alone are in
He's
this
a
herd.
goat.
Well, I mean,
Flock.
after seeing it constantly happen, time and time again, in shows like Tanya the Evil, yeah, one of my choices was a default to Monica, but then I also picked Jade Saxton because she has voiced characters very similar to Sana in the past. Very similar looking, very similar acting.
True.
And that's why I picked her as my second choice.
You're not wrong. I mean, she's shown she has quite the range. For my own prediction, I have not seen the show Gosick yet, but
Gossick.
after hearing all,
Hey, whoa. There's actually going to be an episode. We can't talk about that.
I won't. Okay, no, I was. But anyways, point is that there was a casting choice in that show, which I won't say which one, that was already in my mind. Just the name was in my mind. And I don't think I've ever put her as a prediction before in any of our Dub Talk episodes. And I always get these wrong, so I thought, okay, I need to break out of my mold a little bit here. So, Afia Yu, who has done some good work that I've heard so far, but I never seem to cast her in anything. So, like, okay, I'm going to be right this time and predict her as Sana, and I will be right, and I will gloat.
Truth be told, I also put Afia Yu, and for the same reason, I kind of figure you did.
That
Okay.
was probably a good
We'll
time to
keep that hush-hush.
mention... I also had Afia Yu.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. So we
It
devolved
appears
to-
that we are the sheep
We are all
now.
sheep. And speaking of which,
we are
the other...
we
I almost said the other sheep I have. Damn it. No, my other casting prediction for Sana was Sarah Wiedenheft. That one was corny.
No, not at
Okay.
all.
Oh yeah, wasn't Monica Rial a sheep?
Yeah, show me wrong.
Huh.
She was Moa Pune.
So I see how you
Pew-doo.
got Monica and sheep. Okay.
Pew-doo.
Anyways, Roots.
I need to watch that. I need to buy that show now.
So apparently Andrew got this one right.
What?
Go figure.
Flip the table! No, I will not lose to
Playing
Andrew.
the mysterious Sana, Sarah Wiedenheft,
All right.
which I have to consciously remember is pronounced Wiedenheft, because I took like 6 years worth of German.
She's not German. She's Dutch.
All your language is flawed.
Exactly. So you would know Sarah Wiedenheft as Michaela Watch in Blood Blockade Battlefront, Yuki Kusakabe in Interviews with Monster Girls, Zuikaku in Konkoli, which I don't think is out yet, Ruby Kurosawa in Love Life Sunshine, Toru in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and Azusa Murasaka in Orange.
Cool.
And let us not forget from Honey Pop.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pee if we're gonna talk about Honey Pop again. Swear to God.
So
So
tell
let-
me, Hardy, How many light years away is it to the nearest galaxy?
I don't care. Just show me your star-shaped pubes.
All right.
We have no shame.
This episode
Celeste-
has been shamelessly
That's kind of
brought to
gross
you by
considering the
Honey Pop,
character.
because
Celeste is best. Put your ray guns to the test.
Okay. Let's not do the honey pop thing anymore because she's playing a kid this time.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, technically, she's not even a human.
It's the shape of a kid. I'm calling it a kid.
That's fair enough.
She was born, and therefore she was. It's like every one of them seems like they were people or were born as like regular people. She seems to have just been conceived.
She is. Therefore, she is. Enough said.
I'm gonna theorize that we see that one flashback sequence. Well, it's not even a flashback. It's like she interacts with what looks like an older version of herself, and I'm theorizing that her existence molded herself to have the body of this character because she was like another character who she saw already. So it's like her physicalness, her entity needed to take form, and she said, oh, there's a taller, blonder, flat-chested girl. I'm going to shape myself to look like a younger version of her.
But at the same time, she's a florist, which to me implies that's actually her future self.
Could be.
Yeah. Okay.
I hadn't thought of that. I did sense there was maybe some connection to Zoroku, but I didn't know if it was future self or was like another character. But
It sounded
we're
like
theorizing.
I thought it was interesting because I know we're breaking order here because I could hear the very distinct amount of like child and adult sounding person, and I thought that was particularly interesting.
It was.
Just
Hardy, what did you think of Sarah's performance?
I liked it. Excuse me. I liked it. I think I'm kind of torn because Sarah is doing a lot of major and or lead roles this season alongside Amber Lee Connors and Afia Yu. It seems like if it's not one of those three, then it's nothing. Like it's like almost every single simuldub this season is being helmed, at least in the female actress role, by one of those three.
You know what I think it is?
Yeah.
On the Lucky Star behind the scenes features, I think it was Michelle Ruff who talked about the concept of the it girl in anime voice acting. How there's like a new it girl every couple of years. It used to be Michelle, and then it was Kari Walgreen, and then it was Wendy Lee, and then it was Brina Palencia. Now we're in the age where Sarah Wiedenhef is the it girl.
Yeah, no, and Amber Lee Connors and Afia Yu, all three of them play like major roles, if not the lead role, and you know I'm kind of a little bit bothered by that. It's like it's sort of moved.
God, what?
It's probably like that perfect storm of availability and popularity just kind of converging.
Versatility, and also like newer actors who are fresher and like available and like able to do things because like they got the time and the ability to do that, and also giving new talents to shine. What the fuck is this being about bothered by this?
Well, I can understand repetitiveness. Like you get into a rut of repeating the same cast.
Yeah,
I
no,
understand
when it happens 4 times in one season, then yes, I think it's a problem.
Okay.
No, when you have 4 dubs, when the same actress is the lead role in every single show, in all 4 of those shows, yes, I think it's a problem. And so, yeah, no, if it was concurrent seasons, then yeah, I would let it go. But I mean, and no, I'm not being mean towards any of these girls. I'm just thinking, hey, you know what? This is an actual problem. It needs to be addressed.
With all due respect, not everybody is like a regular watches everything in the season, simulcast regularly. Some people are just casually tuning in to some of this stuff. So, like, it's noticeable to us since we cover all of these. But to, like, the average viewer, this is, like, fresher, newer talent getting a chance to shine in some things they might have tuned into.
Well, actually, I'm going to kind of disagree with you on that, Andrew, because even to the casual viewers, if you hear a voice that's so standout, like such a unique quality to it, you're going to notice it, even if you don't recognize it by name. Because, and Sarah Wiedenheft is specifically one of those people who has such a standout voice that if you watched any show and you didn't read the cast list, but you just heard the voice, there's a switch in your brain that triggers that says, hey, that sounds like Toru, or hey, that sounds like what's her name from Handshakers, or hey, that sounds like that one alien that I screwed in that one game that Hardy gave me for Christmas. That's just going to register in your brain, and I do think it's a little bit of a problem. You gotta... I don't know how to remedy it, though, is the problem. Super talented, super available. How do you not overexpose that? I don't have a solution, but I can agree with Hardy that it is something that should probably be addressed.
I think that's more of a conversation for the state of broadcast dumbing and not a knack or a criticism of Sarah Wiedenheft as an actress or not. I think...
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
apologize. I think I got a little heated there. I'm sorry.
As this role is concerned, Sarah does fine. I have no complaints. She sounds cute when she needs to. She sounds serious when she needs to. Moving on.
I'm actually not as on board with her portrayal here. Interestingly enough, you know how you said that John Swasey didn't sound old enough to play Zoroku? I kind of think that Sarah Wiedenheft sounds a little too old for Sana. And I know that we're not going to get actual children to voice our characters in English, but it's not the age so much, it's the peppiness. The Japanese version of Sana had spunk to her, but she wasn't so gung-ho as Sarah makes her out. And that's just Sarah's natural speaking voice. Like, if she just read the phone book, I think she would still have that natural, high-energy, rah-rah-rah persona to her that I don't think entirely fits with Sana's personality throughout the show. But I will say that when she has to bring it to a different level, with the sadder and serious moments, specifically the parts where Minnie C is like binding her down and she's about to be drugged again, she gets into that existential funk about, am I human or am I not? That was my favorite part that Sarah did in this dub so far.
Oh, she sounded like she was in so much, like, pain, like, not only just, like, mentally, but fucking... I felt the pain when I heard her, like, scream into, like, the thing that was covering her mouth when she got shot. I'm like, oh, God. But yeah, no, that is some... Like, this is a technical little child thing going through a literal identity crisis. And that is some crazy stuff. Like, I think she does this one pretty good, all said and done. I had let me go through my notes here, since I do have notes. I think she's really good when she's got her dramatic stuff. I actually thought it was very authentic and legit when she was eating and talking at the same time in the first episode. She sounded great. She sounded really great. And it's just, she gets sleepy and tired. Like, she gets those emotions down. I think maybe she needs to work a little more on, like, what you were saying earlier, but I think her adult dramatic beats, as well as like the more like childish things like her eating and sleeping, are good. The other stuff's pretty decent, but yeah, all in all, I do really enjoy Wiedenheft as Sana.
You know, while she does sound a bit too old for the role, in the vocal sense, in the acting sense, she acts just like a child Sana's age would.
Maybe a little too... maybe that's a little too close to actual children, I guess, now that I think about it. With all the flaws
like,
and the shortcomings that go with it.
Yeah. Now, the more serious beats she nails. She's good at acting like a child, as I said. There's not much I can say toward the role itself that hasn't already been said.
Oh, can we talk about the Red Queen portion of it?
Sure.
This is the most blatant Alice in Wonderland reference that they make in the show, because not only do they refer to her as the Red Queen, but she also has a little red crown on her head that she wears when she's trying to escape. And it's not like the Lewis Carroll character. I mentioned this to you guys earlier, that the person who wrote the story obviously liked some of the characters and imagery from Alice in Wonderland, but clearly didn't get the characters, because Sana does not act like the Red Queen does at all, and that bugs me a little bit.
Turns out it is not an accurate adaptation. Who would have thunk it?
I understand that portion of it, but like
the powers aren't even direct reference, but yeah.
Well, there kind of is. Hold on a second. Let me let me put on my scholarly glasses here. Okay. Alice in Wonderland is a story about mocking what's wrong with society. Rituals are nonsense. Polo is nonsense. A lot of things are nonsense. Let's point that out by making a whole world that is intentionally nonsense. This story is not about that. This is a story about fantasy versus reality, because she has all of this power in the fantasy world, not so much when they go out into the real world. So yeah, I need to let go of the fact that this clearly is not supposed to be taking the themes from Alice in Wonderland. I do kind of like the whole fantasy versus reality theme they got going on there.
Yeah. But we got to accept the fact that they just wanted the iconography and basically left everything else to her.
And yeah, if you're someone like a casual who just likes stories and doesn't like to read the deeper literary meaning or anything like that, then this probably won't bug you. You'll just be like, oh, that I recognize Alice in Wonderland imagery. That's cool.
We get it. Read the manga. Shut up.
Read the original manga by Lewis Carroll.
Well, I'm not going to say don't.
Sponsored by Lewis Carroll.
Yes. And this episode has been sponsored by the floating dead corpse of Lewis Carroll.
He loved math. And so should you.
Roots, take us out, won't you?
Alright, so you can find Alice Zoroku subbed on Crunchyroll. 15,000 hours of fully licensed support in Japan content. All in your fingertips for $6.95 a month or $11.95 a month if you wanted to go Premium Plus. I guess there's some store discounts, and I think twice a year they enter random people to go to Japan. If you want Alice Zoroku dubbed, you will have to go to Funimation. That's $5.99 a month. Or you could get both of them together. Verve is a channel-based subscription service. For $9.95, you get a combo pack that has Crunchyroll, Funimation, Geek and Sundry, where you can find things like Critical Role, Mondo for things like Batman Piderman or Axe Cop, Channel Frederator for Bee and Puppycat or Bravest Warriors, Nerdist, Rooster Teeth for Red vs. Blue or Ruby, Adam Savage is Tested, and there are additional channels like CISO for comedy, Riff Tracks for also comedy, Jinx for I really don't know what they do, Shudder for horror, Machinima for basically general
Machinima,
stuff.
first of all.
Machinima, I'm sorry.
Remember, you don't get all of those channels for $9.99 a month. You just get select few.
You get 8 of those channels in a package that you could do for $10 a month. And by the way, the secret's out, guys. This episode was officially sponsored by Verve all along.
Here's the
Not
thing,
actually. Please
though.
give us money.
Hey,
Yeah, there's missing content, like a lot of it, especially on the Funimation side.
and
Things like One Piece, Tokyo Ghoul, and pretty much all of the summer 2016 simuldubs, save for Puzzle and Dragons Across,
Because everyone wanted to see
are
that.
missing.
not to mention, they still have not figured out how to do an English dub with subtitles for on-screen text, meaning shows such as Drifters, Ping Pong the Animation, and The Devil is a Part-Timer are nigh unwatchable.
But they are willing to listen to your feedback and criticism and will be working on things to update, change, and fix these things in the near future. We should preface that because we do actually kind of want these sponsorships.
Yeah.
I just want the sponsorship to
I-
IHOP.
IHOP
that'd
is
be nice.
terrible.
IHOP
though.
giving you giant pancakes that you can't actually eat because conservation of energy, which
This
was my
is the
favorite
biggest
little part.
failed product placement I think we've ever done. Is probably going to send advertisers away from us.
Yes. Waffle House. We're not IHOP, and we're proud of it.
Oh, screw
Good
you.
fucking god.
Ding!
All right, let's plug us out.
All
I'm
right,
tired. I
so
gotta
gentlemen, plug yourselves.
My name is Spaceman Hardy, and I own a chain of slaughterhouses across the tri-state area. No, really, actually, no. I'm a forum moderator over at the Funimation forums. Come by, join us, say hi. If you're not too shy, come join us on the forums and hang out with us. I'm actually really cool. A lot of people are really cool. Also, you can join me. You can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is @SpacemanHardy. I post a lot of goat pictures and I rant a lot, but I'm actually not as bad as you think I am. So let's hang out sometime.
I host a chain of cartoon theaters all across the country that you should go to because cartoons are better than those live-action movies that you go to see. But when I'm not,
And they never get an audience unless you put out the free beer sign.
I'm running out, like running low on tap here.
All right, what do you actually do?
I am the host of 10 Frames Per Second, which is a YouTube series that I've been writing scripts for. I just need to actually put them together. But if I ever do, you can find them on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/journeytraveler. More frequently, though, you can find me over on Twitter @NoahClue. And when I'm not doing all this crazy stuff for all of the cartoons in the world, I am creating more children for the Ardell family. Go Ruby Marie Ardell 2017. I
As for
sponsor my
me-
own family.
Good. Oh yeah, by the way, congratulations to Noah. At the time of this episode goes up,
Woo!
there will be a second children in his household.
Hey, that
A daddy is you.
Anyways, as for me, you can find me over on Twitter @MangaMan9000. You can also find me lurking the Funimation forums with Hardy as well. As for on my Twitter, I am going to be on just basically posting a bunch of anime stuff. I'm part of the Year of Fairy Tail, where we watch an episode of Fairy Tail a day. That's been a passion project we've been doing at the time of this recording. We're almost done with the Key of the Starry Heaven filler arc.
I failed at that so badly.
That you did. Anyways,
A winner is not you.
Okay, so I am Roots of Justice. I own a cartel of pug breeders across the New England area. Actually, you can find me on Twitter @Roots of Justice. I retweet pug pictures, put on a nice, cozy tinfoil hat. It's nice. I also kind of lurk on Funimation forums every now and again and the fandom posts. I have a blog that I will eventually do something with, I promise.
But have you ever put a pug in a tinfoil hat?
Oh, now you're giving me ideas.
It'd be
So-
really adorable.
You can find the Dub Talk Podcast on YouTube, doobity-doo/Dub Talk. We also have a Twitter account, Dub Talk Podcast, all 3 words capital. For first letter of each of the words capital. We also have an Instagram and Tumblr page. I believe that's just Dub Talk.
No, it's Dub Talk Podcast.
Okay, Dub Talk Podcast.
Yeah. Dub Talk is just for the YouTube. Everything else is Dub Talk Podcast.
Gotcha. Okay. And if you happen to like this video, give it a like, give the page a subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. All of that helps us. So, from Dub Talk, I would wish you all a good night. Otaku on de dubbas!
this episode was brought to you by pigs.
Pigs. The first white meat.
We were the... See, the true pigs were
quit,
all of
I
us the whole time.
Pigs! Aw, you're adorable. You're gonna be nice in my tummy.
These pigs were brought to you by Carl's Juniors!
Alright.
Woo!
Otaku on.
Carl's Jr.
And...
Otaku on.
Keep it manly.